Welcome back, everyone, to Day 3 of the Paladins World Championship Qualifiers. I'm still Gormizer here on the desk, and now we're moving forward to the next winner's bracket match. The Knights going up against Kanga. And to join me on this one, I've traded out Kresnik for Blue, and this is going to be an interesting one, I think. Again, winner is going to quarterfinals. Loser still has a chance. Loser of this one will play Flashpoint later in the day. So there's a lot of... I honestly kind of want to avoid those guys if I can, if I'm either of these teams, but a lot of, I want to say, weight on these guys. They played a lot in the regular season. They know each other pretty well, but it's a best of 5 instead of a best of 7.
Yeah, so the loser, of course, not getting knocked out. I guess that's a little sigh of relief. But then again, like you were saying, little Cinderella story down there. So do you really want to play those guys? That's the question. This will be a tough matchup. They match up against each other pretty nicely. Tanks for tanks, damages for damages. Both supports playing really well this week. So I'm interested to see. I think it'll go more than 3 games.
Yeah.
So I'm predicting like a 4 or 5 game set here.
I could definitely see that coming true, and that's the biggest thing. Both of these teams haven't had too much to do this week. I mean, yesterday they came in, they 3-0, and they go home. They get to prepare for today's match, which, again, they've spent countless time already preparing for each other this season. The Knights, of course, are the team that are coming in slightly higher seed. And the bigger story, I think, in Phase 2 of this year, between them and Kanga, they were fighting between 6th and 7th. Knights did well. They did really well. They made some roster swaps going into this phase, and they did the climb they needed to make. There's the guy closest to your screen, and then the guy almost at the end there in Zarini and Simsalou have really kind of changed the dynamic for the way they play and the way they draft.
Yeah, Zarini and Sims have been big pluses for this team going into Phase 2. Actually, if you take Phase 1's record out of the equation, they finished 3rd in the PPL.
Yeah, they did really well.
If you only count Phase 2. So they did improve a ton from Phase 1 to Phase 2. And Sims has been a big part of that. He came in with the Penta squad. Here he is with the Knights. He's been playing very well. He was a little panicky the other day in their first matchup. He said, they were banning out his characters and then picking his other ones. He had to play Ruckus, and he was a little nervous because he didn't have a Ruckus loadout.
That's funny.
But he played it well enough to help the team surpass.
Kind of counterbalance it.
Yeah, a little counterbalance. So they were able to get that victory there. And Sims, he brings a very nice dynamic because he can play these projectile champions as if, when you watch him play a Maeve or a Pip, it's almost as if it looks like a hit scan because he knows how to play that champion. He knows how to aim. He can predict the enemy's movements so well to be able to place himself in a position where he can succeed.
This is simultaneously a fantastic replay and a misleading replay all in one go.
That's
because it shows
loadout.
that you're putting him on Ruckus, and again, something he does not play very often. I think I can count 1 that I've seen him play Ruckus. And he did incredibly well, and that's the thing I think that kind of highlights what he does best. You put him on something, you say, Simsy, we need you to play this. He's going to play it. He's going to play it well. Granted, you're going to rely, I think, his Maeve, his Eevee, a little bit higher, his Drogos, his Pip, as you had mentioned, a little bit higher than something like a Ruckus. But it doesn't really matter. Give him what you need, and he'll make it work.
And look how he plays the map. Perfectly placed rocket there from the Drogos, and still, the rocket's still traveling, hasn't even hit anything yet, and he's able to duck out of cover. We just watched some replays from his Maeve on Frozen Guard during that set as well. He did that huge backdoor where he went off the map for what looked like an eternity. He did die as soon as he get to the other side, but still a good play. He finds ways to maneuver the map that most people don't even bat an eyelash at.
And I think that's the key, the Maeve thing. Yeah, he died at the end of it. No one was really, well, I guess actually one person on Hype Unit during that set was expecting it. They were waiting for him. But you don't see that kind of movement typically. That's not something that you come into it thinking, all right, this Maeve pick is specifically to get around this giant barrier in our base. Like, no. He's going to work well. Maybe if that comes up, it'll look really good. He is actually ending, again, only 3 games that he's played for this event. But in those 3 games, Cuss was able to get a 6.9 KDA, Simsy sitting at 3.3. They played really well. They were very dominant in those 3 games. But the team they're going up against in Kanga has been kind of right on their tail. Not necessarily this phase, but pretty much all year. And wildly inconsistent is the word I would use for Kanga, where sometimes they show up and they go 3-0 and they'll win a set and look really good. This phase was different because they didn't have that guy right there. Hades wasn't with them. And the impact it seems to have on the mentality of the group and kind of the impact and the booth feel, I guess, the team feel, has been very impactful. But the guy that I think they have to burn down, and I know you kind of look at Joel's and Rhino in a specific light, they're going to be matching up with, Bunny and Zarini. How do you think they're going to be able to fare here?
I like when Joel's plays main tank. I think Rhino is the stronger of the two when they have to play those off tanks. And the thing is that really makes me question is, are they going to draft double off tanks?
Yeah. When
they do that, that is when the inconsistency starts to come in. But Rhino plays the off tanks very well. I especially love his Ashe. Here we see the Makoa. He plays Koa very well. That's a nice hook right there onto a Maeve. That's a pretty hard target. He plays Khan very well. He plays Ruckus pretty well. But if I'm them, I'm putting Rhino on the Ashe, create a ton of space. He's been doing that very well when he does get that champion. And that's just sort of what his wheelhouse is. Create space and allow the rest of his team to kind of follow up after that.
It's one of those few frontliners where, and actually the only team that I can think of where before Ashe really escalated and elevated into the meta and was something that people were picking in the top 4, they were first picking it anyway because of how well they play it. And that's one that they can flex between Joel's and Rhino, but I agree with you. I love when Rhino's playing it. He likes to get aggressive with it, likes to get controlling, and it kind of changes the dynamic for Kanga. And this is a matchup, I mean, if we're coming into a PPL day, we're looking at the Knights kind of commanding this one. It could go either way. Usually you look at a 7-game set, but again, things are different here. 5 games is all they have for max length. 3 games that you can lose. And the Knights and Kanga both have this weird habit of going up 2 and then throwing the rest of the set for some reason, at least in some instances. Knights have been a lot more consistent lately. Do you think the loss of those 2 games that they have as kind of like a buffer to lose is going to impact them negatively if they're Kanga?
It all depends on how the first game go, or the first 2 games go for these 2 teams. I think Knights personally are the best team in this placement bracket.
Yeah, they're looking
overall.
Really
and I think that they have a great chance of winning the entire bracket overall and heading into the Paladins World Championship bracket. But I don't know. Kanga sometimes surprises us. You know how every land, there's always that one champion that's not quite prioritized in the meta, but then it's all of a sudden really, really good.
Yeah.
So far, to me, it's been Io.
I agree.
And Kanga hopefully thinks it's going to be Ashe.
Either way, I mean, they love Io and Ashe, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. Stone Keep is going to come through. You saw your map bands there at the bottom of the screen. This is a map, again, that in my mind, there are some teams that have it locked down. Most people have this one figured out. Knights going to be your first pick coming into this one. I expect Willow, Strix, Makoa, Atlas probably going to be gone. Then we can dive into the nitty-gritty. Do you go for the Khan? Do you go for the Ashe? Where these trade-offs happen, I think will be the most impactful for the Knights.
Another thing to note is that the other day when the Knights played, they were kind of forced into a Drogos pick.
Yeah.
And Evil Eye was also playing Drogos that same day, and he played it very well alongside Sim. So it'll be interesting to see if one or the other tries to go for the Drogos or push someone towards the Drogos or try to keep them away from it. We see Strix being banned out, and he's played a large part in some success for a lot of teams this week already, especially the Knights. Ricardo was going absolutely crazy on it for 2 games. Barrick first pick coming in, and that goes to play with Joel's. You know, now are you going to force him to play Inara, or are you going to try and force him to play that double off tank, which Kanga is not as strong with when they have the solo off tank with a traditional main tank like Inara or Barrick. So to me, that's a good first pick. Kind of set the tone for the rest of the draft,
and really kind of trip them up at the very beginning. The one thing to be said though, even though I think I am much on the same page, Joel's does well not only on Barrick but just main tanking it. If they do go double off tank, I kind of want to see, well, I was going to say if they lock in like Ashcon right here. Careful. If I'm Knights, grab the IO, hurt them. They recognize what they're going to be doing. This screams double off tank to me because they are prioritizing this IO immediately.
Yeah, this is kind of like a push and shove match where no one's really trying to shove the other person as hard. You know, like you were saying, take the Ashe and the Khan and then Knights should take the IO because Kanga really loves the IO.
Yeah.
And Kanga goes, no. We want IO.
We're just going to take the IO now.
That's our champ, you know. So now Khan, Ash, both still open. Might see a Maeve come through here. I like the Khan pick. It's still on the board. You're not going to get IO. Yesterday I was saying Grover and Genos haven't been doing so well. They got a couple wins yesterday.
Yeah.
But IO and Furia still huge this tournament so far.
So far been winning a ton of their games as well. A lot of control on the objective there for IO. And Maeve, you know, you had highlighted her getting locked in. Barrett Khan as a tandem duo is great, but Maeve, I think, individually fits best with Simsaloo. There are a few people who I think kind of showcase the essential of Maeve, and I feel like Simsaloo is that person where it's just, he doesn't have to think about what he's doing. It's just second nature at this point. He's played so much Maeve, is kind of so in tune with the champion that it's going to cause some trouble more than likely for the IO and the Cassie here.
I'm interested to see what support the Knights go because they have Barrett Khan, so they've kind of opened the door to, hey, we can go Genos or we can go Furia. Both tanks, very aggressive. Both of those supports, very aggressive as well. And then on the other side for Kanga, they have their IO, so they can elect to go double tank with the single support, or they could go double support. They can go triple damage. I wouldn't see the triple damage as popular as the other two choices, but both right now, very nice looking drafts, kind of open-ended. They can go either way. Victor would be a nice pick here too, especially against the Cassie and the Bomb King with the Genos behind him on Stone Keep as well. That's a very good map for hit scans overall.
It's a lot of good damage for the Knights. Kind of a lot of scary damage, I think, as well. And you had highlighted Genos, like, not necessarily doing too hot so overall for the tournament, but when you put him in a drop like this, I mean, Barrett Khan work well with him. Maeve, Leon work well with him. It's almost hard to lose off the back of the Genos. And plus, I think me and you were having this conversation not too long ago. We were talking about all the supports and everyone who was playing, and we were talking, I just had to throw out Cuss and Vex are the two that when I think Genos and I think of how aggressive he can play and how consistent you can be with him, they're the two that come to mind, and putting it in Cuss's hands might be enough to kind of level the waters here for the Knights.
Yeah, so if you take Gera and put him on, you know, the right side of the spectrum, and then you put Cuss on the left, Vex is kind of in the middle. You have Cuss and Vex doing great on Genos, and you have Gera and Vex kind of doing great on IO.
Yeah.
So all three of them able to really showcase two supports that have been dominating for most of the season.
It's so weird to me to think, like, I don't think Gera is a bad Genos, but it's so weird to think, like, yeah, he's not in my list of, like, top
it's pretty
Genos
hard
players.
to be a bad
when he
Genos.
has a quadra kill with a Genos ult from one of the most important games I've seen him play. It's an interesting one to go. They're hovering the ruckus right now, probably locking it in.
Keep talking.
Out of these two drafts, do you have one that you think is a little stronger?
I really like Knight's draft for a complete draft. I like Kanga's draft because they got things that they like. Joel's on the Inara, Ruckus for Rhino, IO for Gera, and Bomb King for Evil Eye. So if I'm going with drafts, I'm going with Knights. If I'm going with comfort picks, I'm going with Kanga.
Yeah, Kanga definitely going to be able to kind of run this one. Stone Keep's looking good for either team. It's going to come down to mechanics and team play. And, well, what would you expect out of two PPL powerhouses? With this, we are going to be jumping down to Stone Keep. But before we do that, we're going to go down to the casters.
Hey, guys. What's up? It's me, Vaughn, and Kresnik here. And Kresnik, I'm gonna open a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
So you're in ranked, and somebody picks Barrack first.
Yeah.
And
With these bans specifically.
Yeah, with these bans specifically. Yeah. And then on the enemy team, or not on your team,
we pick IOBK.
You pick IOBK. How are you feeling?
I'm not happy. But I think that goes to show the split between PPL, like this professional play, team play, and ranked and casual play, right? You can do a pick like that, and for Kanga, it's going to be fantastic.
Right.
Having these comfort picks, having these characters that are very good on this map is going to be good, but you can see the discrepancy between the two levels of play. And I love that. I love having organized team play be able to pull out some stuff you wouldn't want to see or wouldn't normally see in these other places. I think the IO is going to be pretty good for them considering they have a keep composition in my eyes. They're going to be playing inside on that high ground. And Knights are going to be playing outside. They're going to be locking down that church. They're going to be spamming the choke points. And the biggest problem when you're playing in keep is contesting the point. And that's the downside of the composition that IO will be fixing.
Well, they tried to get some early dismounts on PK's side, but no dismounts available. Everyone is in their positions. Once again, PK are playing in church while Kanga are up in heaven and keep trying to control what they can. 6% for them, but already 24 for Pittsburgh Knights. We already see the shots are going out every now and again. Everyone's firing at each other, but still no definitive kills, but the percentage on point is steadily climbing at a pretty steady rate for both teams.
Yeah, the fact that Kanga got some contest is pretty good, having the Inara cycle on and off, but Knights have better control of the outside. It's going to be a lot easier for Zerini to keep that up. Chronix holding on this back staircase, just trying to deny a flank. But he's getting a little low on HP. If Simsalou wants to strike, he could, but light movement mistake means he can't really chase it down, and Joel's the one with control of the objective.
Yeah, he has to be really, really careful. So the rest of PK, they're already looking pretty low, but Rhino is going to be the first to go down. First blood for the Pittsburgh Knights, and now Joel's looking next, and he is. That's already 2 bodies for PK to say that they have their foot in the door. 78% for Pittsburgh Knights as well, and steadily climbing. Now they're going to be able to zone and also catch the point more than likely.
I really don't like that they didn't really put Luna on the objective. I mean,
Yeah.
what else are you doing with it? Just having a stun turret to not let someone chase? I don't know if that's worth it. Aggression from Bunny here, going to get stunned. Actually broke line of sight, so Luna didn't decide to chase him down. Aggression from the tanks in main is poking at Joel's. The health bars aren't looking great, and they're completely surrounded.
Zarini's looking pretty low as well, but a good wall and even better shield once again from Zerini, and the Inara actually helped him out a little bit too, providing a little bit of extra cover. He's going to be able to make sure that he stays alive just even for a fraction longer. The daggers are coming out from Simsalou. He's going to have to move up, but we already see that Kanga are moving in kind into fire. 29 health left, and Evil Eye is going to be taken care of by Cuz with a through time in space. You have the Midnight and the Enlightenment that came out. Ricardo goes down, but already 3 more bodies for Pittsburgh Knights. The bodies are piling up. Chronix is like he's going to be the next one in the pile, and he is. 1:35 seconds left, and Pittsburgh Knights are still looking good.
A great decision making, I think, by Simsalou, hiding them all the way back to spawn. They were just staring them down, and then just use Midnight, force out their scout. Cassie doesn't have CC immunity to live through it ever. Overpower does not connect from G-Buddy, but they still have decent positioning, giving up just a little bit now that that card is in a very difficult position to keep contesting. Kanga have great lines of sight to fight this. Simsalou up top alone. Bunny a little bit split, but if anyone's going to be able to survive a dive from Ruckus, it's going to be Maeve. That Maeve can just run away and force Rhino back. Look, he's almost at 1,000 HP.
Yeah, he's extremely low. Simsalou putting on the pressure just like the rest of the Knights as well. Everyone in good positions. Like you're saying, Kanga have a really great sidelines. Zarini's really, really low on the left, and we already see that he's being healed right back up thanks to Jinos taking his time, biting it very, very well. We already see the Simsalou comes up and over and throws out a couple daggers, then drops right back down beneath him. But G-Buddy, he's going to go down in this exchange right now. Joel's is still really low, but he's getting pocketed by Io. Not going to be able to go down as easily with 40 seconds left on the clock. This game could, or really this round, excuse me, could still go either way.
That was actually a great decision by Bunny. He got aggressive, and Kanga's immediate response was to spend Seismic Crash, take down the con, not let him get away with getting aggressive. Yes, Bunny just walked in and died, but check out Seismic Crash. That was their first reaction. They were terrified of having that con that aggressive. Simsalou was able to get away with so much up top here. Bunny pushing back on Rhino. Might have mistimed the shout, but does it perfectly. With Midnight used, countered by the Scout. Just ultimates being thrown back and forth. None really connecting on anything. Some team has to find a pick now, or else it's going to go down to 1-1.
I mean, Joel's once again getting fired at from all different angles. But Zarini's still looking really low. He actually got low thanks to the BK and Chronix as well. Everyone just focused firing on him. Are going to be able to take him down. Simsalou missing a couple daggers, but also getting healed back up by that IO to make sure that that Bomb King does not go down. Ricardo has to charge right back into fire. A good disengage bolt. 1 shot, 2 in the form of Enlightenment, but still 2 more are going to get caught by us Rhino. And nice job from Kanga to be able to defend that.
I think it's really tough for Knights to convert at this point in the game, purely because it's so tough to dive into an IO.
Yeah.
Not the IO specifically. She's definitely the weaker target to get dove on, but you dive a target, suddenly they're taking 25% less damage, and they're being more or less Ceres healed. That's basically the amount of healing that IO puts out onto a single target. It's really tough. You're not going to burn through that, especially with only caught 1s, maybe 1 or 2 caught 2s. Gara doing a great job keeping himself alive, 1, 0, and 3. Putting a decent amount of heals to his team as well. Damage equal to Genos, which is about what you'd expect, I would say, from an IO. I don't know what they're going to do differently on this mid from Kanga's side. I think they need to have Luna contesting the point, and then maybe they just all shove one angle, dive through, just commit, and see what you can get done, because all this waiting, it's not going to work out. Through time and space does go wide. It's kind of a very predictable angle. Knights have control over the point, and Kanga's just all stacked up on each other in keep.
Simsalou's in the back, throwing out daggers, getting a little bit too risky right there. Almost died for it at that. And once again, Luna not on the point. They're using Anar to do that. Mostly G-Buddy goes for the actual overpower, but doesn't actually hit it. The Dome Shield gets dropped as Zarini's actually trying to back off and also get healed right back up thanks to the Genos healing through the wall. But 48% for Kanga Esports. The Hexifier comes out. He's looking for targets, but he's not being able to find it other than a few walls. He's going to be able to get G-Bunny, though, but he's not going to get away alive thanks to Rakata's very well-timed shots. Chronic's already in banana. He's trying to 1v1 Simsaloo. The scout goes out to make sure he knows where he is, and now he's being aggressive, but Simsaloo backs off just in time.
Perfect timing by Simpsy there. He also played off of the sound
nice
cue.
shots,
That was a
dude.
great use of the edge just to get around that little part of the wall. Zarini does avoid the King Bomb for now, at least the follow-up damage. Still contesting the point, but Kanga have the advantage in objective time. The tanks from Knights, though, they're just walking in and going down. Finally, they get a trade. What else can Bunny find?
Yeah, they're killing so many different people on Kanga's side right now. Two of them, Zarini, G-Bunny, both of them got 2 kills. Cuss getting another onto Us Rhino. That is absolutely huge. Simsaloo, once again, all the way in the back. He's putting on that pressure. Another Midnight gets used to not only keep them from pushing, but make sure they can keep that zone going and get more percentage of the point. 75% for Pittsburgh Knights, though, and it's still steadily climbing. This fight can still go either way. It's a matter of how Joel's going to drop. He's going to go directly on the point with Earthen Guard. Be Gone actually gets used. Not going to find his mark, but Zarini dodging as much as he can. Luna gets dropped on point. Now they put her on point, and we see that Rakata's going to use the Enlightenment, but Chronix is going to roll out of the way. Zarini goes down on point. Rakata follows suit after that, and we still have a fight that's breaking out, but it looks like Kanga are going to be the ones to take the objective.
If this is the sign of how the set is going to go, I cannot wait to see Game 5 more or less. This is an absolute brawl back and forth, and I gotta say, these duels between Chronix and Rakata are being won solely on the back of Chronix's just, I think, impeccable positioning. He's always putting himself around near a corner when he's fighting the Leon, because he knows that Enlightenment can come at any time. He knows he has to kite away, bait it out, and then wasting that ultimate is so impactful, because getting that 50% back is huge for keeping that chain going, keeping up the dual wins and snowballing your advantages. Bunny gets a little bit aggressive into Chronix, maybe gets walled off by Joel's, and most likely goes down here. But Simpsy's in here to help him out.
Yeah, they're peeling for him, though. They're actually providing a lot of space for G-Bunny to still live despite being cornered like that. And they take care of 2, they take care of a 3rd and a 4th, and the bodies just keep piling up, and you almost got a team wipe, or at least I believe you actually got a team wipe. You're forcing all of Kanga to back up. That was so well played by Pittsburgh Knights to actually be able to do that. And now look at this, a good zone. 1 to 2 points already. Kanga are the ones in the lead, but I mean, Pittsburgh Knights, they're clapping back just as hard.
Zone them into their spawn, and that shows why Maeve's mobility is so important, I think. Just being able to rotate around and make it happen. Sussman Crash traded into a dome shield, but I honestly think this is just going to be Joel's going down. Io Pocket does manage to save him, and Simsaloo actually trades his life for it.
He's getting really, really aggressive. Cuss dies as well. Zarini with a double, though, able to pick him up. Now he's looking for a fight as well. He's actually dashed in just for a little bit longer, but Rakata is there to help him. Zarini's not going down. Rhino's trying to kill him, but it's a little bit too much, as Dave would say, death by a million paper cuts, and it's not going to be enough to be able to take down Zarini with a still good zone from PK.
God, Barrick is so good.
Yeah.
Barrick is so good. You just watch that happen. How much attention does Rhino put onto Zarini and just have nothing to show for it whatsoever? Maybe a little bit better damage stats, but that's about it. Simply zoning them in keep, and this is probably where Kanga wants to be. They want to get around without getting shot too much, but Jules gets really low early. Move to the objective. We can't hold it for too long. Chronic's wrapping around as well, and Cuss actually getting a little caught out here, but they're not turning around. They don't know where he is.
Oh, he actually void grips when Chronix actually rolls out of the way, but Rakata's there to help. The Enlightenment comes out as well. He actually might try and set up for a 3-time in space, or he might actually try to save it. Right now, that's what it seems like the option's going to be. Chronix already rolls directly onto him, and he actually gets that dodge roll reset, backs right back out, but still, it's going to end up getting killed by PK. Luna's already in there in that archway, but no one's really on point. PK have the control. Their teammates are a little bit farther back. Evil Eye's the one that just made it back to point, and they're now able to touch. They're able to get that overtime, but Evil Eye goes down once again after just having returned.
Chronix is still winning these 1v1s with Rakata over and over. Simsaloo diving forward now. Chronix in main gear has to back off. No line of sight onto Joel's. Very important for Io healing. Joel's now is just waiting for his Earthen Guard to run out before he probably just melts to bits. There it goes, and Joel's follows immediately. Chronix has no way to contest the objective. Now this is just Simsaloo getting some extra credits. Saved by the disengage for a moment, but Evil Eye does find the kill in the end, getting a little bit more towards his itemizations. And I want to see, I'm assuming we're going to watch this aggressive dive from Zarini that they had earlier, where he just could not get locked down, because that's just the impact of a Barrack in the game. Yeah, he's going to be locking down the point, putting on a lot of damage, but then you can get away with those aggressive plays where you just shove in, and there's nothing they can do to stop you. You just have so much sustain, so much damage for a tank. There's just not an answer that the enemy team can have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is literally what it was. I mean, Chronix was right there trying to do it, but look at this. Look at this man. He's just living. He's just living to the very, very edge of his life. It's still able to fight back despite all that. I mean, PK, once again, dude, if this is how the rest of the set's going to look, I'm ready for some good Paladins, man. I mean, 2-2 already, and it is neither of these teams seem to be wanting to give an inch at all.
They shouldn't be. This is the qualification to Worlds on the line. The winner of this gets it, and Rhino playing very defensively. Catches Simslu on an early flank. Knew it was coming. He's going to have to go all the way back to his spawn, though, 300 HP, and doesn't want to waste the Io's Moonlight on someone who's not really about to be in a fight, right? You want the pocket to be going on someone in combat so you get the most out of that 25% damage reduction. Evil Eye locking down from inside, but Knights have plenty of time to wait for their spawns. And again, I don't know if I like having, like, you see where Luna is?
Yeah.
She's in the corner there doing more or less nothing. Now it might stun G-Bunny, but G-Bunny's pretty safe otherwise.
Oh, well, Evil Eye actually opens up with a cave bomb through time and space as well. He's actually just going to go straight for a cuss, and he is going to be able to find that kill, and another on the G-Bunny, a double stun for him. A third kill in the form of Joel's is going to be able to make sure they take care of that. The Begone actually just ends up getting used. Goes for Simpson, and I believe that's actually what got the kill. I believe when it exploded, was actually able to execute him as well. Kanga Esports with another point capture, a very convincing one at that. And why do you think they're using Luna to just pretty much stay up and keep? They're just using Anar to be able to sit on point. Should they try and be more aggressive or what?
Can I see the items to see how much Bulldozer's on the other side?
Yeah.
Because I want to see if that might be why they're kind of avoiding throwing Luna on the point. Maybe they just started Bulldozer because they know it might be a weakness in what Kanga want. Either way, that beat gone was super impactful for winning that point. It got the kill onto Simsaloo to peel them away, and it pushed Zerini so far off the point that there was no way he could recontest. That was another 20% that went to Kanga unanswered on the back of Gara's ultimate.
We already see right now that the kills are being traded out, but more so in favor of Pittsburgh Knights, as Kanga do have to back off. Their take is down. Joel's got taken out. Now we see G-Bunny's already up here. The overpower actually opened things up pretty early in the game, so we'll be able to get it back immediately. But a good kill on the Evil Eye just to keep their teammates staggered out for a little bit longer, make sure they cannot fight back whatsoever. They still got 3 ultimates too.
Yeah, and they're probably going to hold on to some of them, I think. Ricardo is probably scared at this point to use this Enlightenment. Chronix has dodged basically every single one. Looks like aggression from
Oh,
never mind.
Oh,
yeah,
Simpson,
please.
Get out of there.
He makes it away. All 5 teammates on Kanga stacked inside the banana, so he has to run away. Kind of holding this back. This would be a great time to use that Enlightenment if they push him, but going to disengage instead, give up that keep angle, and just play the distance. They have a better composition for that. Just poke them in the doorways. Make them take damage on the way. Make Io waste Moonlight, getting them in so she doesn't have it to pocket them once the fight actually breaks out.
92% on Scout. It's going to be the first ultimate up for Kanga Esports. Ricardo's actually going to go down. Rhino's going to be able to pick him off and make sure that he can keep this pressure going. G-Bunny tries to push Evil Eye, even though he's really, really low. But good Poppy Bomb to make sure that he gets out of that situation. More and more bombs can get thrown. And Zarini's going to look like he's going to be the next one down. And that is going to be it. G-Bunny uses the battle shot to give him some battle immunity, but it's not going to be enough still. They're going to be able to get these kills, but 4 ultimates are still available. 35 seconds left on the clock. This is when it gets intense, people.
Kanga is for sure going to use some ultimates to convert this, I think.
100%, yeah.
If anything, just to force out the ones from Knights, because they seem to be able to win those ult versus no ult fights. Sounds like nothing used quite yet. King Bomb's getting close. Seismic Crash I'd expect to see pretty soon. Joel's getting very low, though. I don't know if he wants to spend it now. Behind the wall could be the time to make the decision, but he doesn't have the information because the wall protecting him is blocking this line of sight.
Rhino's also really low, too. They're low in the back. Gara is as well. Simzulu able to not only make sure that he actually can put on that pressure, but get them all low just as well. I mean, now they're able to fight back. The ultimates are still being held onto. G-Bunny's up there, up on Brage, able to 1v1 Evil Eye. He's going to take him down. Ricardo follows that in suit, and with a kill on Chronix, Rhino, Joes, 4 of them, 5 of them, Gara, all of them get team wiped. And man, oh man, we are coming into a last point fight. Very, very first round, very, very first game of this set with all 10 ultimates available and in the mix.
And this is going to be the check of what team is going to be better under pressure, because this is pressure. Yeah, it's not the final game quite yet, of course, but this is more pressure than any of these teams have been facing all season. They have so much they're going to have to work through. We'll see what team kind of will thrive and what teams might falter. I think ultimate-wise, not even sure who really has the advantage. If that fight becomes scrappy, I think Kanga are on the losing side of it for sure. Unless they have Luna on the point, they're going to be on the losing side of it. Gara on Io, not specifically Gara, but Io, the character herself, cannot spread heals. We just saw it there in that final fight. Everyone on Kanga was low, and what do you do as Gara? You can't keep everyone up. It's impossible. Io just doesn't heal like that. Unless you run lifelink, but losing 25% DR just isn't worth it. So we'll have to have this fight end concisely and decisively if Kanga want to take this map.
Well, they're already leading with 18% for the Knights and steadily climbing. Jones drops down. The drop puts the pressure on Nazarini. He's going to be there. He's going to drop the dome shield as well. Turns directly up on the wall as well as a seismic crash, but the shielding is not going to be enough. Ricotta does go down, though. That's going to be a pretty big pick. The very first 3 ultimates of the game. Be gone. Seismic crash. Through time and space is used as well. King Bomb all the way in the back. He's going to be dealt with. Cuss is down, but Zarini's dying on point. They can't gain any more percentage. They have 3 ultimates up as well still in Kanga with the Hexifier. They have the Scout as well to be able to counter out that Midnight. It is getting so close, 36% to 33. Who will be able to take the first game? Luna's going to be the one that's on point to capture.
Honestly, I still give the edge to Knights here if they can find an
100%,
overpower.
yeah.
Overpower is so impactful. It's honestly all on G-Bunny. All eyes on him for sure to be able to find this. Flanking on the point, actually just ignoring it for now. Maybe looking in the backline because of the Scout. They're all just hiding from him. They know it's coming.
Oh,
He was CC immune, G-Bunny. You know this. Hexifier in the church to zone him out. Not able to find anything, and no one can touch the point.
Simsaloo was actually above it, but he was too high. He actually couldn't cause the overtime, and because of that, Kanga Esports are going to take the very, very first game, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. The CC immunity on Scout, dude, was it. He couldn't actually use the overpower to try and get Cassie, even though he wanted it.
Bunny must have played this morning.
Oh, yeah.
The new patch is out. Cassie isn't CC immune anymore. But she still is in this patch that's being used in the qualifiers and in Worlds. Bunny basically throwing that ultimate away. Of course he's the only person that's peeking you. They have wall hacks. They can see where you are, and you have the only thing that's going to win your team the game.
Yeah, so how would you use the overpower in that situation? Who would you try to go
anybody
for?
else.
On literally anyone else?
Literally anybody else.
Literally anyone else.
That was the equivalent of me shooting at a wall.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
And that's even worse than shooting it at a wall. That's a wall that can do 1,000 damage per arrow to me.
Well, I mean, understandable. Unfortunately, that PK lost the first game, but Kanga are already looking pretty good with a 1-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Knights. We can only see if Kanga can be able to clap, well, not Kanga, or continue their momentum, and PK will be able to clap back only right after this break.
But oh, how it feels. But nothing ever comes to me, in a steady stream. But you gotta keep on going. You gotta live that dream. I know I ain't supposed to feel it, but oh, how it feels. Instead of letting it go, I let it stay.
Well, Kanga are able to squeak that one out at the end. They take it to 3-3 up against the Knights. Knights with some pretty solid defenses. But at the end of the day, I think we see the Inara, the IO, the point presence from Kanga maybe a little too strong for the Knights. And Blue, I mean, you had been calling for IO pretty much from the get-go. You were saying she's been doing well, especially compared to Genos. And lo and behold, it holds true.
Yeah, Garrett played it very, very nicely. He had a sick Begone ult as well. Not a lot of con ults connected.
Yeah.
A lot of IO ults did connect. A little odd there, but Garrett was able to have a lot of space. Rhino opened it up for him. They peeled very nicely for their support. And, you know, not a ton of healing all the time for IO, but that's a ton of healing for an IO.
Yeah. I mean, 171,000. Plus, you have to factor in the fact that for every tick of that healing, whoever he's healing is getting 25% damage reduction. You throw that into an Inara, who's already a healing sponge, she doesn't die too often. You can see 7 deaths there for Joel's. They're able to isolate him a little bit, but when it came down to it, there was a lot of clap back. G-Bunny, like you said, missed a few ults. Simsaloo, 8-9 and 9, kind of a quiet game. And, well, that let Gara just kind of run rampant, run free on the side.
I could be wrong because I haven't played Ruckus in a while, but I think he had a DR card in there as well. So 2 really good tanks with DR already. You add some more from the healing. You can also give DR which is damage reduction to the Fox Luna when you
Yeah.
heal that. So a lot of utility coming out from IO for not just herself, but the team and the deployable. They were capping the objective with Luna there. He played great, and that's something that he's been doing when the Kanga is on top of their game. Gara's usually one of the players that is leading the charge.
It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of keep that dynamic going in the future and what exactly the Knights are going to change. That was a solid map for Kanga. Again, a lot of point capture, a lot of control in that area. They weren't able to translate it all the time to a payload conversion, but at the end of the day, you don't always need them. So we'll have to see where exactly they want to go next for this one. It's going to be Frog Isle. We finally get one. So it's
I
going
think
to
this
come
is
through.
Kanga's
And
map
this could
pick,
be
too.
pretty snowball. Yeah, they're going to be first pick as well. So a lot of things lining up for them.
Yeah, so Stonekeep was the Knights map pick, and they lost it to Kanga. So now Kanga could go up 2-0 here. But as you mentioned on the desk before Game 1, both these teams going up 2-0 means nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we've
Judging
started
by
calling
past.
it. I'm sure a lot of people have started calling it this, but the patented Kanga throw, you go up, 2-0, then you go 2-1, and then in a best of 7, you go up 3-1, and then you lose the last 3. In this case, I'm assuming they go up 2-1, and then they lose the last. I guess they win 2, lose 3, and get reverse swept would be the only way to pull off their own kind of signature throw of what we have seen in a lot of these sets. They're so far going to be looking at controlling Simsaloo. They ban off the Mave. Strix taken away from the other side, considering what we've seen Chronix do with that. That's someone who came up early when we were talking about last game, but quickly pivoted to Jera and the rest of the team kind of opening the door. But that Strix, and specifically Chronix as a whole, is just insanely good for this team.
Chronix is just so good, Gore.
He's just
so
good. At the
good.
game.
He's one of the players that I like to watch play as a viewer. And
Yeah.
not just as an analyst or a caster or someone who knows the game, but just as a viewer, it's very enjoyable to watch Chronix play.
And he's just consistent. It's one of those things, you'll look at, again, I pull him out with the same names, Ricotta, Rock Monkey, Invocal. You look at the guys who are known for their aim, and there's just something serene, like when they're in their A game, like when they're just in that zone, just watching their perspective. Like, turn off all the game sounds, turn off everything, and just watch them aim. It is a different experience.
It's kind of like he gives me like the same vibe as Diggy, coming from a region that doesn't have that
There's
depth
hope
of
yet.
players
Yeah.
at that level, and he's out here showing off. Kinessa ban as well. Frog Isle, huge
That's
for
impressive.
that. If they didn't ban Kinessa, I think Kanga first picks it for Chronix.
Yeah, honestly, it is not a bad pickup. Not only on this map, but just for Chronix. I don't think there's a lot of bad picks for Chronix.
But because of these bans, it opens up 3 off tanks
yeah.
that are the good off tanks, and we're gonna see Makoa. I'm a fan of Makoa since I am a Toidle main myself.
Yeah.
Khan comes out as well. I like that pick. You do want to have Atlas if the other team has Makoa, but they have a Khan with it, and they can go triple tank here. That could be a thing.
Actually, we've seen a couple teams do that as well. Like when they aren't too sure about their point control or what they'll be able to do. I expect G-Bunny on this Makoa, a huge threat to be assessed there. Zarini on Khan, if they keep it with just the 2. Otherwise, they throw someone else in there, and well, you have to start looking at Simsaloo playing another tank this week, which is an interesting change of pace for the Knights as they've come through. But of course, at this point, you're in the World Championship qualifiers. You're looking for quarterfinals. You've got to get your adaptability. Like, you have to have every strat in your pocket. You have to be willing to pull it out in order to keep yourself going forward. Kanga, Atlas, Barrick,
we
IO
bite.
coming back one more time. Very good start for them.
Yeah, Kanga's getting their comfort picks again. They're getting Io, they're getting Atlas, they got Barrick for Jules. But for the Knights, if I'm them, I'm grabbing this Eevee because you can get in their face with it. You can play aggressive. I don't know about the Maldamba. I maybe would have went maybe Furia or something a little bit more aggressive. You can still do that with Maldamba. We've seen Cuss do that in the past with this champion. But right here, last pick, I'm taking a 3rd tank. They have Atlas. If you go 3 tanks and just push into their face, push into their backline the entire game, just get aggressive. Atlas can't use the big shield or the big wall. He's going to have to go with the Rewind AoE legendary. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But even then, you grab Resilience, and it's like, we're in your face. What are you going to do?
And I think that's the glorious thing. You know, normally you look at it, and in my mind, I think triple tank, oh, you have to have a carry with you. Like, you need a Leon, you need a Cassie, you need someone who's going to get all those kills. You don't really need that if you have Khan and Makoa, though. Like, they get enough kills on their own that you can kind of let it levy out. Again, we call Khan for a while there, Fat Victor.
They might go triple tank
And
on the
Makoa.
side of Kanga. If they do that, I'm going triple tank on the other side. Ash is up. I mean, Torvald is up, but that didn't work out earlier this week. Once, I think.
Terminus?
I think it was with Alex. I'm not going Terminus.
Not into this draft.
No, I'm not going Terminus at all.
They're gonna
Terminus
look at
was the last tank on the board where
Where's
5
where-
damages
5
or
damage.
something.
Well, it looks like they're hovering the Cassie, and more than likely going to lock that one in. Do you like kind of the pivot maybe away from triple tank, or do you think they should have kind of stuck with the guns, gone for something to bring in and match the triple tank from Kanga?
Cassie works because she can do a lot of burst damage in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
She's good against tanks as well. And if they can get that high burst damage potential out of Cassie onto one target, then Eevee pops in, you know, finishes up the kills from Sims playing it, could be pretty dangerous. I still would have gone triple tank and just pushed into their face. I mean, Anara, Barrick, Atlas, very good when you're in their face,
Yeah.
but you've got Makoa and Khan already, so.
It's going to be really interesting to see the Knights do it, especially because when you look at it, I mean, you know, Atlas, Barrick, and Nara, their front lines, of course, they're tanky. Bomb King also has a good amount of health under his health pool, and with Io kind of behind them, a lot of control, if you can't kill them fast enough, they are just going to sit there, and you can't do anything about it. So a lot of pressure, I think, on the Knights to be able to burn down Kanga. Otherwise, Kanga are just going to be left standing when the Ash is clear. We'll have to go down to the casters and see if that's how this map shakes out.
We will indeed. We'll have to see if Kanga can continue that momentum they had from Stone Keep, even despite it being close, and try and carry that one victory they have and convert it into a second one. Or, once again, PK could be the ones that end up clapping back. How do you feel about the triple tank on Kanga's side, dude?
I think that they could have gone with something like a Victor instead. I feel like taking that away from Knights was the right call. I actually wanted Knights to go Victor's second rotation because of having that Atlas. I think just having Victor on Frog is too strong. But since they went triple tank, Cassie definitely ended up being the superior pick for the Knights. I think the Knights ended up with a great draft to play into triple tank. And I think they're going to be able to execute it, honestly. There might just be too much health on the side of Kanga. It's entirely possible that Kanga just win out of having what is essentially 4 tanks,
Yeah.
Luna being one of them. It's entirely possible that's just how they win the game, but a lot of pressure on Evil Eye to find this damage because Inara, not the most damaging frontline when you want her to be aggressive.
Yeah, not at all. We already see that the percentage is building for Kanga's side at 27%. G-Bunny tries to spin, but the wall's right there. He cannot make it past that, and as a result, they are going to end up being able to take him out for a first blood kill on Kanga's side and 60% to boot. Oh,
Chronix could not have landed on any other pixel in the map that would have saved his life there for sure. Setback used into Simpson's ice block. He's going to run away. Can they connect? The shot's great by Chronix. Back on tanks. This man can play anything right now. Walling in Ricardo. Ricardo doesn't know. He's trapped in. Drop the wall now. Someone might be able to follow it up. Chronix so aggressive, though, in their face. They just have no answer for this.
They really don't. 2 minutes to 20 seconds because the point has just been captured, and you're looking at a situation where you're stuck in spawn. You're trying to fight your way out, and Kanga, with the momentum that they have already with this triple frontline composition, is just putting on so much pressure. Zerini puts up the shield to try and live, but he's still going to go down. Several shots, several bombs, several kills, and Kanga Esports are still pushing without giving PK an inch of space.
Blood's not doing a ton of damage, I don't think, at least from watching his POV, but I feel like these tanks are just carrying this fight.
Yeah.
Just walking in, almost uncontested. All right, he's actually over the Eevee, but Nara and Barrick both out-damaging him. Well, this could be a great sign for Crash.
Man.
2, and it goes off, hits 3 people with it.
And Evil Eye actually gets 2 on the side. You get a 3-man stun, you get rid of 2 of them as well, and you get a third with Cassie's body ragdolling and splattering against the wall right there. I mean, Zerini goes down 2. They're able to get rid of Chronix, but there has not been a chance that they have been able to push out of spawn once they were in there.
That was insane aggression from Kanga, and like I said, if they're going to win this game, that's how it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
They're just going to out-health them. Like, hey, we can just walk at you. What's your response? Nothing? Okay.
Right.
Sounds like a plan for me. Chronix on this and Nara, unstoppable. I was watching old VODs recently, and I saw Chronix on Ruckus, and I was like, why don't I remember this? I'm talking like main rolling on Ruckus.
Right.
He was a tank in the past. This man's done a little bit of everything in the Oceania region, and now he's been a top-tier hit scan DPS. I think he's one of the best. He was one of the best supports at PWC last year, and It's about to be one of the best flex tanks, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
PWC this year if they keep running this composition. Yeah, he's the only death, but look at the slash lines on the other side of the game. I wouldn't be too bothered if I was the only death. My team is just dominating, and I think he's one of the key factors.
I mean, he's able to set up a lot, especially with that seismic crash and even like with the double kill. I mean, man, you already have another King Bomb that's rolling out, and he's actually able to stun G-Bunny, but look at how low everyone else is. Simzalu's low, and more people on the sides are also low. They use the dome shield, they drop it, but Evil getting a little bit too aggressive. They're gonna take care of him, but the Be Gone from off screen, from the back of the court, gonna force him all the way off of that point and away off of the map. Get that kill. What a Be Gone, dude. Followed by that overpower to knock Chronix off of the side, but 66%. PK have not touched, and Rakata might have to be the one to go do it.
No, it looks like they have a tank potentially going in for it. It is Zarini, but he has to walk through the temporal divide, and now he can't drop his shield because of the exile. He does make it to the point of the last second. He might just melt down immediately. Luna's stunned, but they don't have the damage to confirm on Zarini. That's the downside of triple tank.
G-Bunny moves in, gets a hook on the Evil Eye, and that's a good start. Big game, big damage, and big plays for Pittsburgh Knights. So look at that Chronix. He's going to have to roll out of the way, so Rakata does actually not go down. 99% to 3. PK have just touched the point, and now they're able to get their percentage with comeback mechanic available. All they need to do is get a very good zone, and Kanga will be looking at a point loss for them and a point game for PK.
And with double comeback, I really don't know how Kanga can touch the point, especially with Bunny being so aggressive.
Oh!
Doesn't use the Ancient Rage. I don't think that's really that big of a deal. He zoned so much. Chronix used his DR really early, which means he's not going to have a chance to touch the objective.
97% to a point conversion for the Pittsburgh Knights. Jeez, I got to...
Yeah, that's all, folks.
Yeah, Porky Pig right now. 2 minutes and 20 seconds still available for them. With Simzalu, Rakata, both of them going down. Rakata is going to end up being the one as well that ends up getting hit. Luna just through shield. How unfortunate
Kind
could
of had
that
some
be?
peanut butter in his pocket.
Yeah.
Luna just hunted him down all the way back to danger side. And Kanga, you wouldn't think they just lost the point, because here they are, zoning Knights into their own spawn.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 minutes left, too. I mean, PK are looking absolutely, I was going to say phenomenal up until now. We're looking at the same spot that we were in before. Almost got thrown off, uses the seismic crash to keep himself on and out of harm's way. Rakata's going to be able to take care of Evil Eye, but look at where G-Bunny is, all the way in the back, on top of Gara. Use the Be Gone again, but he's going to be able to hit the wall right there. Going to get hooked and down. Us Rhino's actually really, really low. I don't know if they were expecting G-Bunny to be all the way back there. He rewinds for no health whatsoever. Triple take, yeah, is a factor, but when you have somebody like this, G-Bunny setting up so much in the back line, he's actually able to find a way for the rest of his team to be able to fight back.
That Ancient Rage was good. I do not like the Be Gone in response. I mean, even when it was over, I don't think there's any way you're killing Bunny. I don't think there's any way that it's worth it, spending it at that point. At this point, just reset, use your triple tank health bars to shove back through, and it looks like that's what they're going to try to do now. Health not the best on the Knights, but the damage that they're able to do. Khan just chipping away at Evil Eye, but Temporal Divide will open up a lot of room for Evil Eye to walk in, and Simpson should get trapped out here.
Yep, there's other things he can do about that. Use the ice block, give himself a little bit more time, allow his team to do what they need to, but still, no one's really going down on Kanga's side. PK is the one that are on the receiving end right now, especially with a good zone they could get. Nice popping bomb into another kill. Triple kill for Evil Eye, and now we have the zone that we were seeing before that Kanga were able to set up. Evil Eye gets low, but he's not down.
I want to put out some tech on Evil Eye's side. So Simpson goes into the ice block, right? Evil Eye puts bombs in 3 corners around the ice block. Normally, there's a thing where as soon as you get out of ice block as an ED, if your bomb can trap, you can shoot straight down. Great peel by Bunny, by the way. I don't want to ignore that because that was very good by him. You can shoot straight down and clean the bombs. Evil Eye places them, so he can't do that in one shot, and there's no way Simpson can get out.
Wow, great peel even still from G-Bunny to be able to body block all of those, if not most of those shots for his support. I mean, for Cuss to keep him alive, but Zarini is still going to go down. You still got a zone, and now you're looking at a 3rd point for Kanga Esports. You are down 3-1 right now, Kresnik. What do you do as PK to try and find an opening? You got 4 ultimates online, Ancient Rage being the only one that's not up.
I think you got to try to slow the fight down and get your Ancient Rage. Maybe go for a hook off of the edge, but Chronix is going to be in your face really early with Earthen Guard. There's really no response to that on their team other than maybe having Cassie go on the edge to mirror them. Early scouts, see where they're going, and try to push the backline maybe. Get onto that IO. With some resilience is built up, maybe you can live through that Luna stun. And here's that long distance across the map. Luna stun, they've been training her, and clearly it's been paying off.
I mean, you know, you get stunned from that long of a range to actually end up getting converted into a kill. It's hard to quite argue whether you guys could actually get a successful zone or not, especially taking out one of those off tanks, man. I mean, this is it. Once again, I mean, Kanga, they could take this, or, I mean, PK could just be able to clap back. But Cuss, on an 11 streak, actually unable to die. Or I guess that's how it seems right now. Those first few shots are actually going to be ringing out for both teams. And the scout goes out, but still no kill conversion, but point percentage for Kanga.
Temporal Divide was a great response to that, actually. Dreadserver going into the back, it's fantastic, but can they follow up on anything? Simpson gets a great air shot onto Evil Eye, bouncing away. He's controlling some
nice
zones
hook!
here, but he might find this here.
Very, very nice hook and good ice block as well, just to keep himself a little bit more alive. Make sure he gets healed up, but Luna's the one on the point, 66%. Now they have to move him off. Rhino gets actually overpowered, and now they're going to be able to take care of him. The comeback mechanic is still available right into the Ice Storm, and as well to be able to convert that into a kill. Ancient Rage, now the only ultimate being up. All 4 ultimates from PK that they had are going down, and still a really, really good zone from them. This is looking extremely good. This zone is going to be able to capture the point for sure.
I think this is great by Knights because they respected the Temporal Divide.
Right.
They waited, they used Scout, they Temporal Divide in response. As soon as that's down, that's 20 seconds. If that ability's not up, Atlas has massive cooldowns. If you can force them out, you can play that to your advantage. That's the time you can get aggressive, and they do. Super deep Dread Serpent detonated perfectly by Cuss. This really would open that up. He's trying to find a foothold, but this Death Ball from Knights may just be enough to burn down these tanks.
2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining with the PK still pushing forward. The ice block midair to make sure Simpson does not go down, but he is still. Rhino's going to be able to clean up after that. Rakata's looking pretty low. The snake bite, he's just like, God. I mean, he was literally unable to be stunned with how little of a stun that was on Maldama's side, man. I mean, this is it. This is the fight. It is that Kanga are taking and able to force PK back to where their spawn is. 1 minute and 45, and we've seen this happen so much. But it's a matter of if PK can try and convert this, or if they're just going to go down another round.
DR used by Chronix to keep this pressure up a little bit. Everyone's very clumped up, and Evil Eye knows this. I mean, you can see the outlines through the wall of people that you're doing splash damage to. Chronix gets hooked, but Inara is the last target that's going to die from a hook like that. Lotus Field dropped kind of interestingly, but Chronix is still keeping his zoned out. Some poke from Rhino behind him, also adding some damage on the Bunny. I don't know, honestly, what the Knights can respond to this, especially if they don't want to spend any ults. They have the chance to, they have time, but now they're hitting that weird zone where, like, if they use it, they might not have it up in time for the next fight.
Oh, well, they decide to actually go for it. They're going to make sure they get rid of that Atlas. Disengage actually hits Joel just for a little bit, but he's actually just skirting around right there, making sure he does actually not get hit, and he's still alive. Joel's getting a bunch of bullets pumped into him, and so are the rest of Kanga as well. And now, Chronix, one of the only ones that's left. He's just going to have to try and die. With 45 seconds left, PK, they were able to make it back, but all on the point, all on the precipice of a Dread Serpent that actually converted that for them.
Dread Serpent's already 40% too. Since nothing else got used, now they have chances to use to convert this, but even if they do, they're just going to go into the final fight of the game if they cap with nothing to show for it, really. Rakata, double rolling out, somersault not available, but maybe a little bit too aggressive, and Simpson goes down.
Yeah, G-Gun is going to be the first to go down this little fight just as they were making their way back to the point. And Zarini's going to follow suit soon after that. The rest of PK have to back up and make sure they don't get staggered any longer or pretty much lose anything else they need to. Once again, man, I mean, 5 ultimates up. Cuss has not had his Dread Serpent back yet, but you still got 4 to utilize on PK's side. It's a matter of it's going to come down once again to this next round. You've got 5 ultimates up for Kanga Esports. What can they do to be able to solidify this?
Nothing at this point. You just give it up. Simpson went into touch, but a perfectly timed Grumpy Bomb by Evil Eye stunned him on the way in to get that pick. You watch Chronix on the Inara walking all over the Knights, I think, so far this game. Definitely part of the composition they have too, right? Io with the triple tank. Maybe you think that's not enough heals to spread, but you just win the fight immediately because you have a 25% DR all the time in Nara. That's 40% faster. Very, very tough to deal with that, especially when they're hitting all the shots like Chronix is. This man is the hyper flex, I would say, at this point for Kanga Esports. And that's not normally what you see your backline DPS on, right? Normally your backline is like, yeah, he's our Leon Cassie machine.
Yeah.
Chronix has been playing Inara, Lex, Victor. He used to be a support main. He can do it all.
Yeah.
And he'll have to keep doing it all if they want to get this map 4-2 for Kanga. A lot of ultimates on the board. And time will tell how they use them.
Yeah, I mean, G-Buddy's already all the way up in the front. No point percentage yet at all, except for a measly 3% for him to be gone. Gets used, fall by the seismic crash. Good Dread Serpent, though, to be able to try and peel, and they are going to be able to take care of Joel's because of that. And we are seeing the overpower gets used on Rhino. He gets yeeted off of the side. Zarini's going to go down, though. 24% for Kanga Esports. Luna being able to sit on the point is going to be a lot, because wants a piece, too. He's He's 1v1 in Chronic. He's actually going to be able to get that kill. 20% for Pittsburgh Knights. And this is going to be another good zone for them with the ability to actually have half fast cap available.
I think poor ultimate usage might be cursing Kanga here. The Seismic Crash just got caught in the Ancient Rage's teeth. Dome Shield goes in the front of an Ancient Rage, immediately dies as well, so a great counter by Bunny to this. They're going in with the Ice Storm, catches the Barrack, but this King Bomb might be able to turn things.
That's what's going to have to look like. The Ice Block actually gets used. It's all the way in the back, but Simsaloo, nice shot. As soon as he comes out the Ice Block, he's going to be able to peel for Cuss, make sure he doesn't go down, but they're on the point, and they're actually all looking really, really low. Good shielding, but Rhino goes down next. Still, despite how low they are, Pittsburgh Knights are not falling, and they're giving them a run for their money, but Ricotta's going to actually end up going down as well. Zarini with a nice double, and Simsaloo already in the back, using the wormhole to make sure he does not full-on commit to that, and a point capture for Pittsburgh Knights.
Knights are now playing this really well. I think the ultimates on mid are what's important, right? When it comes down to these final fights, your ult management is key. It is the one thing that will win you the game, and theirs is just plain better right now. I think that might be part of facts to that. Kanga don't really have like a leader in game. They have people that talk more, of course, but they don't have someone that is setting things up. And Knights have a couple people that are willing to do that, so they're always willing. Great air shot by Evil Eye. That might be able to chain this up to Bunny, but a Dread Serpent in front might flip the fight onto Knights' side.
Yeah, I mean, or at least it seems like they're trying to peel for him to make sure they actually just don't get collapsed on. But that seems like what's going to happen anyway. You've got the Overpower and Scout almost building, and you have the Scout available now. Now that Pittsburgh Knights are actually being pushed all the way back towards their spawn, 1 minute and 45 seconds still remaining. They're waiting for the wall, but still gets hooked. But the wall's going to be able to block that. Simsaloo goes up and over, and now they're just using that little edge right there to make sure they can go around and try and put this fire onto him. Divider goes out to make sure he still stays alive. Battle Shout is actually, Zarini is still being able to push forward, but Evil Eye responding in kind with good damage, Poppy Bomb himself out, and now in an even better spot than he was before to be able to try and finish them off, but Rhino's going to go down.
Great awareness by Evil Eye to get away what he did. Now Cuss is just getting walked at by Joels, but I don't think it really matters. Damba has enough sustainability, and Ricotta comes in at the last moment to save his life. Evil Eye trades it for 1, might be 2, but Ricotta knows where to shoot, finds Evil Eye. Gara going to go down shortly on the card because of Simsaloo's flank and Knights. Now, 1 minute remaining, many ultimates on the table. They have to decide what they want to spend, right?
True.
If they use everything and Kanga uses nothing and they don't manage to turn this around, they're going to be at a huge disadvantage going into the final point fight. Disengage from Simsaloo with the wormhole. Chronic's pushing up on the left side. They want a hook to find something for free, but Simsaloo might go down first. He gets eaten by the Divide!
Nice Divider to actually be used by Rhino to be able to block that Dread Serpent. That's going to be absolutely huge. Using the second chance to back off. And Simsaloo's going to go down. They're down on ultimate. G-Buddy's actually going to have to spit out or at least try to keep himself alive for as long as he possibly can, but it's still not going to be long enough. What a Divider to be able to stop that. And now PK are down on ultimate. They have 4 up. They still have the Scout. They have plenty of tools to be able to use coming into this next round. The Kanga are forcing them all the way back, and Kanga have all 5 ultimates up. This is coming down once again, my goodness, to a 3-3 last point fight battle between these two giants.
I was hoping Simsaloo would make it to the point. That's why I didn't say anything for a moment, because I was just staring at the payload progress. Like, I saw Simsaloo kind of just blink past everybody, and no one seemed to care. He couldn't make it in time. I think Luna was actually on the objective. I think that might have been what stopped him, which is actually really smart by Gara, and also shows the strength of Io that maybe it wasn't something we really considered, having that presence there while they can push forward. Definitely very helpful at keeping them in this game. Evil Eye, Ricotta, both having phenomenal performances. I think all the tanks. I think everyone's playing well in this game. It's just whatever team is syncing up more. Cuss still undying. Only Ricotta on his team has single-digit deaths other than him, and he's sitting at a fat goose egg. 0 for deaths. Fantastic performance by him so far, and just letting you know that the ult bonus you get from killing someone only is tracked by kills.
Right.
So that Cuss not jumping off is not a throw. He's not giving them a free ult.
Right.
But he now disengaging over here. Might get walled. That wall doesn't cover all of the path, and he should be able to get around it, but it gets the Ancient Rage Force down.
Divider actually ends up getting used. Chronic's looking really low as well. Simsaloo on the side, trying to blink and put on that pressure, but you already hear the trumpets. The King's coming in. The court has ruled the possibility of your death, but they're going to be able to back off 18% for Pittsburgh Knights, and now they're able to be on the point. G-Bunny's looking really low. Simsaloo actually soars past him, gets a good shot on the Evil Eye, and now they're looking at Simsaloo, but he's still going to be able to be alive, and nice job, Ricotta with the double. That's going to be absolutely huge. A good hook from Joel's, 36% for the Pittsburgh Knights. Ricotta, though, is going to have to back off along with Cuss, 36% to 14, and they are still alive with still a chance to be able to come back with this overpower.
That was the best Resilience 3 Dread Serpent I've ever seen.
100%.
That was a fear for a millisecond, and it was enough to keep Sims alive to trade that kill, but it wasn't enough in the end. Again, Knight, what are we stuck with? Only overpower that has to connect to make something happen here. It does. I thought I heard it, but it didn't go out. Didn't decide to spend it quite
yet. Make it the point?
Forward on the side, and he catches Rhino during the exile.
Good overpower, and they actually take him off a point, but a second chance! He actually has just going to be able to go right back to point, but a good hook from G-Bunny is going to allow them to be able to pick him off. Nice job from him. Good awareness, but the overtime timer is still ticking down. Everyone's fighting on point. Simsaloo gets rid of Evil Eye, and now Kranz is looking extremely low. The wall goes up. He's able to contest. Garro's in the back. He's going to be taken care of. Good shot from Simsaloo. Now they're being able to look at Joel's, and he goes down. Now they have control over the point. They have the scout. They have the Ice Storm that just ended up being used. 57%, and now Rhino is trying to make a climb back, but can they be able to do it? I don't know, Kresnik. They might not be able to make it.
I don't think so. It gets hooked in main. Has to use the second chance, which means he goes away. 90%, no one's close enough. Evil Eye tries to make it, but a Dread Serpent on the point because it's going to keep things guaranteed. And the Knights answer back to take us to a 1-1 scoreline, and this is about what I expected from this set, Fawn.
This is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I am at a loss for words at the caliber of play we are seeing for Pittsburgh Knights to be down 3-1 and be able to not only tie it up, but clutch out that fight. My goodness, are we in for us? I am so excited. This is absolutely sick. I cannot wait to see Game 3 for sure.
Yeah, I want to see where they want to go after that. Frog Isle, a normally snowbally map, was kind of held back and forth. No team could get that conversion. Kanga, that triple tank composition, it started great in the beginning, but once that resilience came online, everything that they wanted to do wasn't really hitting the same way that it was before. And Gnar and BK, some of the bigger things they bring to team fights, RCC, Resilience 3 is up. They're not doing the same thing. Knights' draft just scaled better to the end game.
Yep, it just did. It just ended up being that way. The Resilience 3, everything coming up online for both teams, but PK are the one that are going to be able to tie this one up. I cannot wait to see Game 3, so we're going to throw it to a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
Well, the Knights are able to pull this one back, although really from the brink of defeat. Kanga look pretty solid throughout the duration of it, but they start losing some of their capture points as the game goes on. And unfortunately for them, that one starts to hold true towards the end there. And Blue Ricotta was kind of the one that came to fruition. Like at the beginning, not having a bad game, but not really having a loud game, not getting a lot of kills, just kind of doing standard Cassie things. At the end, though, he's double kills, in your face, causing trouble.
Yeah, the end was when he started to say, okay, we need to win this game. Don't want to go down 2-0. Yeah. But, I mean, PK was making mistakes the entire game. They were pretty much getting zoned out, spawn doored, whatever you want to call it. They were getting pushed back even when they captured the objective. It's looked like they were the ones playing defense on their side of the map.
Yeah.
But Ricotta really stepped up towards the end there. It looked like the end, Kanga had the zone going, and even the rewind from Rhino put him back on the objective after he almost got thrown off the map by the Con. Beautiful play there by Rhino. And then all of a sudden, Ricardo just started popping off, getting the kills. He got a double kill there towards the end, almost a triple. And then his team started to respawn and come back with them, and they were able to turn the whole fight around, and they were able to zone much better than Kanga did at that moment. So they were able to take the victory, and hard-fought battle there right down to the wire.
And Ricotta's easily the talk of the town, but Cuss is 4-0-31. I think someone who absolutely has to be shouted out for that. 6,000 credits totally earned through this game, so that's ridiculous to me. Also,
That's tough on Frog Isle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that not only going undying is tough on Frog Isle.
He
that
did it
many
yesterday,
credits,
too.
That much healing as well. I think it was like 173 for the IO. And then like 278 or something for this Moldamba. So it also helps not only having someone as zoned in as Ricotta, probably having that zone in of a healer behind you. Cuss making it work for his team too.
Actually, the way they were getting beat and pushed back that entire game, now that you think about it, that's pretty impressive on Frog Isle.
Yeah.
To not die. But Ricotta right here with the dodge rolls, hopping all over, or somersaulting all over.
Yeah.
He did get some nice plays there towards the end, helped his team get the victory, but that was a rough one. If I'm PK, that's rough. If I'm Kanga, that's rough because you lost after you had, 99% at the very end there in a 3-3. I think PK only had like 10% at the time.
Yeah,
so that's rough. But for PK, that's rough because you kind of had to open your eyes there at the end like, yo, we're about to lose 0-2, we need to do something, kind of like desperation. Yeah. It's not an elimination round for either of these two teams, but I kind of get that feeling from both of them right now. Neither of them want to go to the losers bracket, whether they have to face a console team or not. I mean, Pittsburgh Knights have already faced a console team, and they looked extraordinary against them. And Kanga looked extraordinary against a PC team, I believe, if I remember correctly. So
yeah.
I mean, both teams looked good coming into this matchup, and now it looks like two juggernauts kind of clashing to kind of crown themselves the top dog right now in this tournament.
We'll have to see who's going to be able to keep it up based on this one. Break the tie at 1-1. I have to say, Ricotta, we got a couple of shots of him in the booth, and you can see he is not feeling too happy about it, although maybe taking a lot of the pressure onto himself, not only having kind of some off performances. That last one he really shaped up towards the end, but he also takes it to merit because he is majority the guy who's going to be making the calls. If he makes the wrong decision, then it might end up hurting the team. So he's probably feeling a lot of the pressure right now. They want to push forward. Like you said, it's not end-all be-all if you lose this one, but it is the difference. Like, you're guaranteed top 3 if you win. You're at least going to be able to do that. You run the risk of getting eliminated, especially if you tilt too hard going from this match to match number 4 today. You'll have at least a little reprieve in between, but a little bit of pressure highlighting them. Cassie taking the place of one of the tanks that we normally have down there, Atlas or Makoa. Nice
during the last game, I was telling you, like, you were like, wow, Evil Eye's popping off right now. And I was like, well, it's because his champs aren't getting banned. Back in the day, BK was a ban-worthy champion. Drogos was for a certain amount of time as well. Now those champions, they're not highly banned, if not at all. So Evil Eye can pop off on things that he loves playing, like BK and Drogos. But also, I started to think a little bit deeper into the draft from last game after that conversation. I mean, Atlas was on the board. We saw a Makoa and a Khan all in the same game. And then, now they ban out IO. So that's what I'm saying. Are they going to start target banning the opponent?
Yeah.
Ban the IO, ban a BK, ban something that is giving you trouble. Look, they banned the Cassie from last game. That gave them trouble. They banned the IO. I mean, this is going to leave things open. Drogos. Eventually, we might see a Strix come into play. During the season, you see a lot of meta bans.
Oh, yeah.
During the tournament, you're going to see a lot of target bans. And that's when players are going to get champions that are usually banned, and you're going to have to step up because maybe you haven't played or practiced with them as much because you're like, oh, they're just going to ban it.
Yeah, true. And that's, I think, something that we've kind of been pointing out. Some Atlas players, they will pick it up because Atlas is just so good, and then it'll be kind of a detriment to their team. It just won't quite click the way they want to. But much as always, if they're open, Atlas goes first, Makoa goes second. Sometimes you can flop those, but they both get picked up immediately. And Maeve going to come in for Simslu, who, much like Ricotta, although I want to say in a much more long version of it, has had a very quiet tournament so far. And then the last game, I started seeing his name show up a lot more often, started to pick up a lot more kills. Now he's going to be on Mave. Is he, essential? Like, if he starts showing up along with Ricotta, does that just kind of end Kanga where they stand?
Yeah.
Or do they need more?
Sims needs to, I'm not going to say step up. He kind of needs to, wake up. It's as if he's on cruise control. I said that about another player on a PML team a few days ago, but he's not doing bad. He's getting kills. He's doing his job. His utility's there, but it's not like the Sims that we saw during MSI where it's insane play after play after play, midnight every minute or so, and it's just, the other team pretty much just had a dark screen the entire time. But he's still doing well. He's still playing like Simsaloo. He's just not playing like Simsaloo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly how you mean for it, too.
This
he
is
just needs to
interesting,
kind of
though.
shape up into himself.
Because they took the Genos. I was wondering, you ban out Io. Does that end Kanga?
Where does Gara go?
What is Gara going to play? You were talking earlier when you said that he's not bad at Genos, but he's not like the standout Genos.
He doesn't scream Genos to me. Again, and I think it's so funny, he has a quadra kill with one ult on Genos, and yet he doesn't make me think Genos when I hear Gara for whatever reason. And there, the top 3 picks, you get Atlas, Barrack, Genos. That feels like you're running a tier list, right? You're like, this champ is good, this champ is good. They work with this support who's also really good. Now they're hovering Buck and Victor. Victor, you can argue, I think he's in that middle ground of, really well. But I think actually Kresnik and I talked about this. Buck fits really well for we want to focus our resources on the carry. You go do your own thing, and I know you're going to get things done. Do you like seeing Buck on Serpent Beach?
Yeah, I was telling Dolson that the other day in the booth, I believe. During the Flashpoint hype game, they picked Buck with triple DPS.
Champions
it's kind of like Buck is like, I'm going to go do my thing.
Hey, guys, you just 4v5 for a little bit. I'm going to go hit this.
I got
back
some
line
heals
up.
for myself, I'll call you if I need you. I like the Buck pick. By himself, though. They do have a lot of damage in their front lines. When I say by himself, I mean they don't have triple DPS.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's an interesting line. I mean, it also goes to say, once Io is taken out of the equation, does Kanga go down the tier list like you just said it looks like? Or is it kind of like, oh, this is a hidden strat that they have if ever Io is out of the equation?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to first pick Io, and I think that this is the first time I've ever seen Io banned. So, I mean, who knows? I do like PK's draft, though. They have the Furia. That's very aggressive. They have the Khan and Makoa again. They have the Maeve and Leon. Oh, hey, guys.
I'm assuming they're feeling happy, at least based on Fawn's little dance down there.
They're ready.
They're ready for it. I mean, this is a good set so far. It's 1-1 after 2 pretty contested games that have been coming through. And, well, you saw him dancing. Let's just go ahead and jump back down to him.
Yeah, there we go. Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
Game 3. I am ready to go. Absolutely. I am with a 3% ban rate, and I'm pretty sure all that ban rate is literally specifically targeted towards Kanga right there.
Yeah, I see no reason for it not to be. I mean, they're clearly the ones who've kind of mastered this pick. Get rid of it. Push them out of their comfort zone. Also, deny the best double off-tank composition. I think that's very valuable, especially on a map like Serpent, where you can just shove both off-tanks up top, drop Luna on point, just ignore, let her cap. We've seen double off-tank be amazing on this map when Nip played it back in Phase 1. That's just a better version of that composition, so getting rid of that I think is smart. It kind of pigeonholes Kanga into needing a point tank.
Right, exactly. And I mean, you sort of got that. I mean, you've got that Barrack to be able to actually be that point tank that they need. Once again, PK are the ones with the sort of double off tank right here. And this is the strategies they're going for. They got that Furia, they got the Hand Flame at their back, baby. That's going to be extremely strong. You already see first shots about to ring true, or really I should say first grenade that's going to find its damage. Second comes through, not going to find its damage as much as the first one did, but 27%, yes, on the point for Kanga Esports already. 0-0, and now Evil Eye's finding his opportunity. He knows that they're up there. He's going all the way around, and Gara is actually going to find this first kill on a Simsaloo. Evil Eye's in position, but he actually gets chunked right there. Uses that healing, that meditation, that recovery to be able to make sure he stays up and alive. But 72% already for Kanga Esports, and they have yet to touch. They're more so just getting picked off right now.
I love the Victor pick here. It's so good on Serpent Beach, I feel. I mean, think back to old Fnatic Hyper Victor strategy. There used to be a Torvald Victor pocket strat where you just sat up top and said, all right, Victor, can you kill everything, please? And then Tenor said, okay. And then he did. And you can see even without that Torvald damage boost, Victor's still just shredding through the enemy team. When you have two off tanks, when you know that they're just going to be walking straight in and that's their goal, having a backline, that's just raw damage is very important. And having Chronix on this Victor, denying anything that Knights want to do is kind of going to set the tone for the rest of this game. Deal with Victor, lose the game.
Yep.
Those are your two options. A, B, Knights, what are you going to pick?
Right, and we're going to have to see if they got to choose quickly because of how fast this payload's actually pushing up. Already at 50%. Simple's all the way in the back against Void Grip. Chronix lives with very, very low HP. G-Bunny tries to follow up, but he is going to be able to get the kill on Chronix. The rewind actually just saved him, sets him all the way back, and in a good spot enough to be able to keep himself alive. But you got a minute and 30 seconds left still. You got plenty of time. The hook goes wide, doesn't find its mark, but Evil Eye's taking a lot of damage and has to back up with that Buck. He's got Buck Wild. They've got through time and space. They've got Barrage. They've got their ultimates building PK in the same form, in the same sits. It's a matter of what will they use towards the end of this round already with the point towards game.
Buck Wild could be a pretty good ultimate to use inside Orange through time and space, goes and does not connect on anything. Rhino pushing through Orange right now, going to this high ground side. Simple is waiting for him, but he has to back up. Atlas does a lot of damage. They're not watching the side. Just walks in and they melt down Zerini.
Ricotta is going to be able to at least even the score by getting a kill onto Evil Eye G-Bunny. He has to back up. Ricotta's in a good spot. Simplu finds his mark as well by getting the kill on Nagara. The healer is down, but Victor, Chronix is not going to go down without a fight, without avenging his fallen comrade. He's going to be able to take care of the fact that Gara is down, but Cuss with a double of his own, getting those last hits. Zerini following up and taking care of Chronix with 40 seconds left. You got 4 ultimates up on both sides, 8 total, and now the clock is ticking down. It's a matter of what you want to use towards the end.
Can I just say that Cuss is having an amazing set so far?
He is actually 100%. Talk about that.
For the Knights, he's been in so many different playoff situations, world championships. How long has Cuss been playing this game and been at the top of it? Yeah, this is pressure that some of these other players might not have been under before. Cuss is no newbie to this. He knows how to play under this pressure, and I expect him to keep thriving as we go through this bracket further and further. Right now, though, he's holding up top. No great way to take upper for Kanga outside of maybe Buck jumping up top. And Fury should be able to at least buy some time. They come in with the Temple Divide with the speed boost, can't find much of anything, and Lightning gets forced out by Evil Eye.
Okay, well, we already have the bulk up was being used, or at least definitely prevalent. He's actually going to be able to live despite eating out Lightning, only getting chunked for a very, very small portion of his health. Actually, use the Buck Wild towards the end. He gets a couple good headshots on the G-Bunny, leaving him dead. Zerini's picked off next, last hit by Chronix, and now we're looking at the Furia on the side. Nice daggers from Simpson to be able to open things up. You still got the barrage as well, but he's going to be able to save that because he's got a full clip with PK's name on it. A triple kill for Chronix to be able to end this round with a 2-0 for Kanga Esports.
Great use of the Buck Wild there. I think it's so good at burning down characters like Makoa and Barrick. Just the faster fire rate when you're gonna get a headshot every single time, because Makoa and Barrick are like 70% head. When you're getting 1,000 damage per shot with the Buck Wild, it is absolutely worth it. And here's that clutch moment earlier from Cuss, being able to come down at the right time, burn down Rhino, perfect flick on the beam, killing him just in time, plus getting that con shout from Zerini as well to keep him going. Hopefully we'll see more performances like that from Cuss for Knights' sake, but starting down 0-2 is not the look they want. Again, I said they have 2 options. Deal with Chronix or lose, and Chronix 9-2. 41,000 damage going on 42,000. Record 2 means that Makoa Khan can't really be the ones to dive him. Honestly, all eyes on Simpsy, all eyes on Ricotta. They have to deal with this man, or else I don't know if they have a shot.
Yeah, already with the Midnight, you got the inflame, you got so many ultimates. Once again, 8 total for both teams. You've got a 2-0 situation right now. You've got comeback mechanic available for the Pittsburgh Knights, sitting at a nice even 35% right now and still climbing. He's going to have to back off. Zerini's not going to stay on the point very much longer. Doesn't want to take too much damage. Actually, the Evil Eye's going around on the side of the Midnight. The clock is there, and it already struck. And now we're going to see if anyone's going to be able to get anything from that except for more percentage on the point for him. But G-Bunny is going to be the first to go down, use the second chance. Now he's looking at Ricotta, able to get a couple good shots, but Chronix is going to be able to finish off Simpsulu on the side. Ricotta's there, but he's literally stuck there. A charged shot, once again, slightly charged shot from Rhino is going to leave Ricotta dead. 85% for the Knights, though, and it's still looking pretty good.
Chronix now taking the enemy high ground. 85% for the Knights, but to be able to make it back. Luckily for them, this means that if they win a fight, there's no potential for a retake from Kanga. Now Kanga plenty of time, possibly. Sorry, excuse me. Knights have plenty of time to go in and make this retake happen. Gotta find something quick. Evil Eye, while he wasn't seen, has to bulk up and walk away. That's a lot of cooldowns forced, but both DPSs are dealing with Evil Eye in the backline, and the Enlightenment goes at nothing.
Oh, come on. They actually use the Enlightenment. Now he has no ultimate to be able to follow up after that as well. 87% to 85. They're actually able to touch, but the Exile is there. Nice jump shot. He's going to be able to hit one, but he's going to be able to find himself dead as well in that same breath. Good daggers from Simsalou. More daggers come out and leave Chronix looking low, forcing the rest of them back now. Pittsburgh Knight once again with their first point. Right now, they're able to push up and try and find their opening, despite the fact the Enlightenment was used a little bit early. This push is going to be able to net a lot of percentage.
That was great by Evil Eye, but on the other side, the Exile just kind of going uselessly into the Ancient Rage was not the look that I think Kanga was hoping for. Evil Eye is going to be able to lock this down pretty effectively, though. If Buck is good at anything, it's 1v1ing other flankers, and there's really no other high ground take from the Knights other than getting a hook like that, equalizing the high ground instead of taking it. Waiting on Bunny's cooldown, waiting on Simsalou to duel out Evil Eye, but all that DR, all that rejuvenate might be too much for a Maeve to burn through.
Indeed, a minute and 50 still there. Divider goes out, and now you hear it there. Fly, she already told you. Another good hook to follow up. The clock strike midnight once again for the second time, at least in this small little push right here. You've got 2 kills for PK. Evil Eye drops down. You have Garrett spreading out the heals as much as he can on this Genos. They're really low in the back, but they haven't done yet. They took care of Evil Eye despite how low they were all the way in the back line. They get healed right back up, take care of him, dust their hands off. Now they're looking at Chronix. They're throwing up shots up there. They know he's around that pillar. Garrett's going to have to respond in kind by going around up onto the bridge. A minute and 15 seconds left. G-Bunny is going to go down, though, and they still got plenty of time on PK's side to be able to try and come back.
Chronix's patience is so key there. Just not moving. He knows as soon as I move anywhere, I'm going to die. He heals up a little bit, re-peeks. Oh, I'm 300 health again. All right, I guess I'll wait again. And he bought so much time. They were so afraid. They didn't want to push out. 12-2 now for the man on the Victor. Crossing out the console favorite. This PC player. And Kanga holding this area above orange. The Oasis strong. See what they can find here. Rhino also holding up top. And actually, Simsalou tries to dive Chronix and does finally stop this Victor's rampage. What else can they get from it? Might actually get Garrett too, but the grip saves him in time.
Nice job for the boy. Grip actually going to be able to think that's going to finish off Simsalou with 30 seconds left. You have the Inflame at your back, or I should say past tense, as Pittsburgh Knights are being pushed back with 25 seconds left on the clock. Kanga have all 5 ultimates up and ready to go. It's a matter of what PK will use, or what they will force Kanga to use, I should say, and how they will respond in kind. With 15 seconds left, the clock is ticking, and the round's almost over.
Knights should use nothing, because if they use everything they have, they're going to lose here.
Right.
Kanga's going into the next fight. 5 ultimates to 0. Evil Eye getting pretty low over there. Simply has to run away. This divide is going to make this really tough, but Serini does manage to get the touch. Khan trying to survive on a point is not ideal for sure. Rhino dives and finds Simpsy, gets stuck in the Logom, and now he's flanking Cuss.
Now he's already in the back line. Rakana turns around, flick shot, actually ends up with Rhino dead. But once again, the rest of Kanga take that opportunity. That one brief reprieve that they actually are able to find in the very aggressive push that PK had. They're able to take care of Simsalou and close out that round with a 3-1. But we saw this on Frog, dude. It's a matter of if PK can still pull out what they harnessed last round, or last game, I should say, and make sure they can try and fight back.
How effectively can Kanga use their ultimates, too? Kanga have a lot of ultimates that can whiff. They have ultimates that aren't guaranteed on anything. Through time and space can hit nothing. Dome Shield is the only one that maybe is kind of good always, but Buckwild, Exile, Barrage, those can all find absolutely nothing. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Kanga to make it happen, and so far it seems like Knights handle the pressure a little bit better. But look on the other side. I mean, I talked about Cuss's ability to handle pressure. There's veterans across the way, too. Gera, Evil Eye, those are players who've been here before as well. Everybody else on the team has also been to a Worlds, not finals, but they've been to HRX. They've played at Worlds before. Who can handle the pressure more? Midnight coming in early. What can the Knights get from it?
Oh, I don't think it is going to find. It's really just a clip to the face. Rhino's going to be able to take care of Simsalou as he's trying to find his way in. Zari's getting melted next. Now they swap targets to G-Bunny. They're looking at him. They throw out the Pyre Strike to try and see if they can get that stun, get that peel, but it's not going to be enough. Ricotta and G-Bunny are down and out for the count with 12% left. Kanga have yet to use a single ultimate in their defense, and it's going to take a lot for PK to try and force them to use anything.
39% climbing Knights do have a chance to retake. A couple great ultimates, Overpower, Inflame, Ancient Rage, all things that can really change the table, but Kanga used nothing. Inflame coming in now for the Knights. Not finding too much. Chronix gets low, forces out the barrage, but nothing really going either way just yet. Simpslu might overextend and gets exiled.
They actually end up using the exile. He actually used it through time and space, but it just whiffs entirely. Simpslu is still there. Zarini gets taken care of as well. They had to drop the Dome Shield on point. I don't believe there's any way that they can actually make this comeback. They still got the Ancient Rage. G-Buddy's going to have to find a way to get on the point, but he gets Void Grip. Shell spins right on, gets the overtime, but the Divider goes out. Now he's just swinging. All he's doing is buying time, but Ricardo goes down on the side. They actually have too much power with that Atlas at their back, and that's going to be it. Kanga Esports with a 2-1 lead over Pittsburgh Knights.
I was talking about how the Knights can how the Kanga can screw this up by using their ults wrong. They just decided not to use any of them.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess that's just the answer, right? Just don't spend anything and win the game off of a little bit of over-aggression from the Maeve onto that Victor. Again, they had to get on Chronix, and they knew that too, but I don't think they approached it in the right way. Simpslu just goes right in front of all of them. You're not living as a flanker against an Atlas Victor. In the middle of the air in the open, they're always going to win that trade. They have so much damage, and you have to find some way to mitigate at least some of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, on top of that, the Atlas was just such a force to be reckoned with, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of times where Rhinos were getting those kills, and not even that, just the setbacks, the exiles. It was hard for PK to be able to try and break, especially with that Maeve. It just ended up getting set back or just ended up getting dove. It was a lot of problems that PK had to try and rectify.
Dive potential, too, on Serpent Beach for Atlas was big as well. Rhino can drop down and get a kill, second chance right back up, and just be in complete safety. Only Maeve can threaten him, and Maeve versus Atlas really isn't that much of a threat in the first place.
Right, exactly. Hopefully, though, PK will be able to at least fight back, try and give a tie, or potentially take us to a Game 5, but we can only know if that's true or if Kanga end up taking the whole set right after this break.
The Knights just aren't quite able to handle that one as SSG come through, kind of overpowering everything they wanted to do. A couple of mistimed ults maybe towards the very end, or not working together. Either way, it doesn't matter. Worse for them. They captured their final point. They win that one 4-1. They move themselves up one game away from being able to seal the deal, punch a ticket to the quarterfinals now instead of having to hope for another set later. In blue, that time it just felt like the Knights couldn't figure it out. They just didn't know what exactly they needed to do to stop it. The one time they captured the objective, they got pushed as far back into the base as they had on Frog Isle.
Communication, I think, is the problem here. We saw the Atlas, all that kind of mess things up as well. I don't know. There's misplays on ultimate management. There's misplays on ultimate combos. There's misplays on when they have the offensive payload up to their side. Defense is slacking a little. I mean, Chronix is going off. Evil Eye's going off. I think Chronix had an ace where they finished the payload push. And then Evil Eye, oh yeah, brother. That's all I'm seeing.
So Chronix 13-3, 15, twice the damage Evil Eye was able to put out. And this is actually a number that stood out the most to me is, you look at the slash lines, really good for Kanga. They won. Joel's had 30,000 more damage than Evil Eye did on Barrack versus the
Here's
Buck.
the thing.
But Buck had effective damage. I mean, he's getting kills here.
Yeah, it's not about damage for this guy right here. He's all about the windup, baby. He's going to hit a couple key shots right there. Look at that. Nice one-shot targets. That's what flanks feast on. That's like, we're getting close to Thanksgiving, and then he's already eaten, baby. Just take those little one-shots, get rid of them. A kill is better than, 10,000 damage.
True.
So if you get 500 damage with one kill, you'll take that any day. He's getting some nice net shots on as well. He's kind of just sticking back with the rest of his team, putting out some damage, and then getting some nice net shots out. When he gets his ult, jumps in, throws the gun with the spin, hits the windup, bada boom, bada bing, they're dead.
And he was able to, do exactly that, not only once, twice, but throughout the game. And between him and Chronix, who just had a perfect game as far as he's concerned. I mean,
I told you, I like watching Chronix
he got
play,
taken
man.
down, but yeah, he was able to control a lot of that. That ace is probably going to stand in my mind forever just because of how well-timed it was. I mean, get 2 kills, like, okay, well, they can still contest. This could still be like a defense 1-1. And then he's like, no, you don't understand. I'm Chronix.
It was a double and
Triple
then a
kill.
triple, so a little bit of time in between those two separated it from being an official penta.
It was like his reload time that literally separated it. He stopped for a little bit, was waiting for the next target.
That's why I need def hands, baby.
Found it, but they got Stone Keep and Serpent Beach going their way. Frog Isle went the way of the Knights, 1 map away. And it could be the final one here for Kanga on Jaguar Falls. A map where pretty much anything goes.
Yeah. Another good hit scan map if they want to go with the Jaguar. Go with the Victor again.
We need a Jaguar champion to play on Jaguar
Well, he's got
Falls.
the wolf on his gun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could mistake that as a Jaguar, I guess, if you're little animal.
Like the racist form of, but for animals. Animalist?
Yeah, animalist. If you're not, would you be an animalist if you said it looked like a Jaguar, or are you a non-animal? Which one is it?
I don't know. There's, you know what? Google's our best friend. I'm not going to do that right now, though, as we come through. Cassie Willow, banned away. The tanks have been coming through pretty often these last few games.
Yeah, and they've been huge. You have Knights who are mistiming and missing ults with the good tanks, and then you have Kanga who is dominating with the good tanks.
Yeah.
So one team taking advantage of the other one's faults. Cassie being banned again for the 2nd game in a row, but this time it's by the Knights and not Kanga, which means Io could come into play again. Could we see it being first picked by the Knights so that Kanga doesn't take it?
It's entirely possible. Depends, I think, on where Makoa goes right here, right now.
Okay, so you said in a best of 7, Kanga goes up 3-1 and throws.
Yeah.
Does that happen now since it's
They
a
go
best
up,
of 5?
They just go up 3-1.
Yeah.
That honestly, if that happens, I think that'd be funny. Like, as their history is like, man, if they could just end it at 5 games, they could just end it in a best of 5 instead of having to worry about games 6, 7. I guess in that case, 5, 6, and 7. I mean, it's entirely possible. 3-1 is their slash line. It's also a pretty monumental win, I think, for them, just to get one over the Knights. How big this has been. I mean, you had kind of mentioned it. You removed the first phase, and this phase was perfect for the Knights. I mean, it was so well played throughout all of it. So there's a lot of pressure riding on it. With Makoa and Atlas banned away, they did leave open the Strix. So Rakata, got to be comfortable on that. But I'm going to follow up a caveat here. This is not a map for snipers, really. It doesn't happen too often.
Every map is for Strix currently. You could play Strix on every map. Every map.
Every map.
That's not like a one of those where, I'm just throwing the question away.
No, that
you
is
can seriously
literally
play Strix on every
map.
map in the game right now.
Any and every map. He'll do fine. He'll be happy. And the Knights
Because,
are looking to
he
prove
can
it.
get in your face or he can just stand far away. I mean,
He's got it all.
he's got it all.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I guess if you're
it's-
on the receiving
It's
end.
really, I'm just having flashbacks to when I play against the Strix and they're in my face. And it's just like,
Careful, we bite.
click, 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 click. Like faster than that, though, because I can't say it faster.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, they're spamming it. There's almost no reason, especially once you flip the pistol out, to just not spam that left click. Keep yourself going. They get Io back on the side of Kanga, along with the Barrack. And Kanga actually not unfamiliar with snipers on this map. One of my favorite facts was Ninum was a name change when he played with Kanga. Prior to that, he had been on a different Australian team in their global series, and he was a player named Valentine, who the only thing I remember about Valentine, I think it was against Kanga, played Strix on Jag Falls, and this is a year and a half plus ago. Like, Strix was not good there. Snipers were a terrible idea. If you did anything like that, everyone would kind of be like, well, you're throwing the game. He won that
Sounds
one
like
time,
kids in
and
my
that's
rank
all
game.
I remember out
Except
of
for
that.
they're not winning.
Yeah, that's the one. The thing that was significant was he took it here and won with it, as opposed to just, hey, Strix is good. Well, I guess right now, hey, Strix is good. We can play him anywhere. But even Kinessa then would have been an off pick.
Wow, Khan is still open, but they take Ash here. The Ash is actually a good. I mean, Khan is a good pick, of course, on Jaguar Falls, but so is Ash, because you have these long, like, they're not tunnels, you know, the lanes.
Yeah.
Like the mid fight in those rooms. Sir Dominance could come up huge there. She could box out a lot of people as well, create a lot of space, especially if you have a Maeve and a Strix on your side. The Maeve could run alongside the Ash. This goes back to the Strix games we've seen, especially from Flashpoint, where they have kind of that combo duo of the damages. Someone goes in, puts a lot of damage in, and then they, pick them off. This is kind of with Strix, but this is kind of backwards. Strix is going to be doing most of the damage. Maeve goes in there and tries to clean up the kill.
See it my way.
It'll be interesting. Bomb King, this is one of his best maps. And Evil Eye had a pretty solid game. They lost Frog Isle with it, but that was kind of his performance notwithstanding. He did really well.
Yeah, he popped off, man.
It was just kind of a surprise ricotta at the very end, really, that just stopped everything. Which could happen here, too. Strix is full of surprises.
Well, I told you beforehand, Bomb King's got a big old belly.
Yeah. He's got, and with the, King's New Cloak, if you max it out, 2450 health. Like, he's a big boy that can come through.
You are not
Controls a lot of
welcome
this
here.
area. Anara, Furia looking to be locked in here for the Knights. How are you feeling about their draft? I mean, you talked about how good Ash, Maeve, Strix will be. Do these last two champions change anything, or is it just even more solid?
I don't know. Maybe they could have gone for the Khan. I mean, Ash, not the best point tank, could use it like that. I don't know how well Anara with Furia is going to do on Jag Falls. Remember, you need line of sight for the Furia heals, especially if you go Cherish. I don't know. The Leon could pressure the Furia out so that she doesn't have line of sight for the Anara heals as much as they would hope. I like Io here. That's a small area for Luna to stun you in and keep the area contained.
It's looking good.
I don't know. Con Ash into the Io, I think, would have been a little bit better. But then again, you give Io the Anara and the Barrack with the DR heal coming from Io. So it could go both ways. I like Kanga's draft here.
And ultimately, they are wanting that to be the case, right? I mean, they want to win this one. They want to move forward. They'll fight SSG if they do. If Knights lose here, they go down to face Flashpoint later today. But of course, Knights trying to stay afloat, tie this one up, keep themselves alive. Knights, Strix, Maeve. I think you need a lot out of Ricotta, which won't be too difficult with the Strix. A lot out of Simsaloo, which he hasn't been giving so far today. And then the other side, just let Evil Eye play Bomb King like he did before, and I think everything's going to be fine. It's game 4. Jag Falls. Kanga might be able to win it. Let's see if they can.
Let's see if they can indeed, but I would imagine PK would not want to go down 3-1. So I'm sure they're going to bring out all the stops here. It's just a matter of Kanga, once again, can keep that momentum they had in the very, very beginning. That slight little mishap that actually happened that allowed PK to win on Frog Isle. Now we're here at Jag Falls, 2-1. It's just a matter of if they can finish it out.
Conveniently enough, the nickname for Ricotta's Strix is all the stops, so luckily for them, they do have all the stops coming out. It's really a lot of pressure on Ricotta and Simsi again. I think G-Bunny and Zarini will perform. It's Anara Ash on Jaguar Falls, a good map for them, but they have inconsistent DPSs. Not the players, the characters themselves. If they miss a shot, it is way more devastating than missing a bullet on Victor, So they have to perform to make this work, and Ricotta, well, so far, they have point control. That's the value of Anara in early game, but Looks like Kanga might be controlling the outside and forcing back Zarini.
Yeah, it already seems like Ricardo's able to find a few good shots. The wall to go up, just to give himself even a little bit more percentage. 24% to 24% though, and still no kill as of yet. Everyone's just taking their time, biding their time really to try and find their opening. Now Zarine's able to stand right back on point. Actually moving out of the way, the poppy bomb to keep himself alive as well as pushing the rest of them. They're pushing on PK's side back. They're still in that fight. Ricardo actually moves in the dark, but Chronix actually takes advantage of that and finishes him off. Zarini is going to be the next one as soon as they swap focus to point. He's going to go down as well. Simslu all the way in the back is looking pretty low. Luna's on point, capping it, and now Kanga can get his own.
I think Knights make a terrible mistake there. Their composition isn't the kind that really wants to dive in and collapse on them inside there, right? They want to stay outside, force them into the choke points, and get the damage on them as they push. Instead, they walk in their Mave, they walk in their Ashe, they walk in their Strix, and they just melt to this AoE pressure that the Bomb King is putting out. They're playing into Kanga's draft, and that has to change if they want to get some points on the board.
Exactly. I mean, they've got plenty of time to at least think about it for sure. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock for Kanga to keep on pushing the payload, and they've still got 1 point for them. Their very, very first point of this game. Once again, if Kanga ends up winning this, they win the set. They send PK to losers bracket, and they will be fighting against Flashpoint. Ricardo is going to go down, though. Ashe is going to try and shoulder bash her way out or give herself a little bit more DR. She's still alive on the side, but now we just see Rhinos all the way in the back. Good heal from Cuss. Ashe going to have to battle shout to keep himself alive, and G-Bunny, Zarini, both of them go down. They've got the Inflame. They've got the Midnight. Kanga have 3 ults, though, ready to respond in kind if they need to, with a minute 35 still available.
They have a couple ultimates up on Kanga's side, but if I were them, I wouldn't spend them. Honestly, you have such good zone pressure here. You're going to be able to burn down Zarini. They do use the Midnight, maybe King Bomb in response, but the Ashe is so aggressive on the Evil Eye that they can't really afford to do it. Simpsy dives in, finally gets a kill, but immediately traded out by Chronix.
Chronix is going to be able to even up that score. Be gone, gets used. He actually gets knocked off of the side. I actually didn't see. Ricardo is going to take care of Gura, though, and that is going to be it. They trade out 1 for 1, and G-Bunny goes down almost immediately, followed up with that Cuss actually firing right. Cuss actually ends up going down. Rhino firing right at that pillar. Manages to get him just as he's coming right back around. The payload is literally right there by an inch, a minuscule, very, very small amount of pixel, but still, PK are able to hold on despite that.
Imagine if Gura was just like hiding on the side and just dropped Luna and just won the game instantly. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, but not this round so far. Great use of the Be Gone. Finding that angle by Gura is really impressive. Be Gone hitbox is a little weird. It's hard to find the angles that'll get it out and around the corners, over the edges. They did manage to find it. A little bit of aggression from Joel's here onto G-Bunny. Kinetic Burst used, but no real knockback. Only buying some ground here. Actually might get aggressive into Gura. Time to Simsalu when they find that pick immediately.
They drop Luna immediately, but also, once again, Gura is the one that goes down. Simsalu and G-Bunny together are going to be able to find their kills, and this is exactly what they need towards the end of the round. Rhino's going to go down as well with Midnight building in the mist. Joel's is going to follow suit soon after that. With 5 seconds left, they won't be able to make it back, and this will make it a 1-1 tie.
And we'll see what they want to use, or how they want to position, excuse me, on the next mid-fight, because it's going to have to be a tough one for Knights. We saw them play right into Kanga's hands, and they're going to have to change something if they want to make it work. They're playing around the outside. Zarini rubbing his head, trying to figure out exactly what he wants the team to do. It's just that defense a little bit earlier. See how close this card is. It's just on Zarini to keep this here. His team's going down around him. Great positioning of the wall. Gets the kill onto Rhino, who was trying to just dash away, cleaning up both tanks in the last moments. If he didn't have his cooldowns up, if he had used his cooldowns differently, those tanks could have potentially won that. Turn things around. Ricardo, topping the damage charts. Joel's and Chronix not too far behind. I want to see a little bit more of a tentative Knights. I don't want them to be too aggressive. Maybe with the assert dominance they can make something happen, but they have to stop Rhino first, that overpower. Great counter up. He's been pretty consistent, I think, at hitting them so far. Yeah,
I agree with that, too. Zarini's already on point, getting percentage. Still mounted, actually. Now he's going to be dismounted. G-Bunny's all the way in the back. You already know what he's looking for, but Luna, the good girl, going to save him, stop him mid-dash, but Cuss wants a piece, and he's going to be able to get rid of Joel's now. G-Bunny's being fired at, and now we see it right now. Zarini, once again, able to get most of that point percentage. Cuss is actually on it right now. He's pushing up with the rest of his team, trying to get what they need to. The bombs are going through that very small crack in the wall, but 66% for him, and they still have plenty of ultimates. Midnight's the one when it's going to be used. He's going to try and dash out. They're just going to converge straight on the Chronics. A good shot from Ricardo, the last hit. A good daggers from Simsalou are going to leave Evil Eye dead. Now he wants Gera all the way in the back, but he's going to be able to force them all the way back. The Dome Shield actually gets used right there in that dark room. 15% for Kanga, 93% for PK, and they got the point capture. They got the kill right on the Joes. Unless they're, there we go. Okay, now they're standing back on it. They force the overtime action to be out, and now they have a good zone going on.
And this is going to be, I think, a common theme for Kanga if they don't find an answer to this Midnight or kill the Maeve a little bit earlier. Simsi decently streaking now, having a pretty solid game. No response to the Midnight from Kanga whatsoever. The only CC immunity on their team, other than casting Be Gone, is using Enlightenment. There's really no answer otherwise. Bunny held on to his assert dominance that whole time, and they could actually use it here if they want to get aggressive, maybe force out that overpower. Looks like that might be what he's looking for here, at least knocking them back. Enlightenment gets forced out, doesn't find anything, and the assert dominance follows it up.
Assert dominance all the way to the back. Simsalou's actually going to be able to get those daggers off and find that kill, or at least he's going to end up going down in that prospect. Ricardo is going to be the one that finishes off the kill. Gets that last hit. The daggers were the ones that set it up. Ricardo is the one that finishes it off. G-Bunny is the one that kills off Joes and allows the payload to keep on pushing forward. It's going to keep rolling. Same thing as the kills on PK's side. Now we already having a good snipe. A flare goes out, manages to actually bank, but doesn't find that hit. G-Bunny is going to be able to clean up Chronics. Now the tables have flipped. So is the script, as immediately Evil Eye is still in the spawn. Joe's going to have to find a way to make it back. He is going to be able to sit on there. The rest of Kanga are moving in tandem to be able to try and fight back. Luna's on the point with them. Rhino and Joe's together are going to be able to do a nice bomb toss by Evil Eye right there, able to get that kill. A good stun from Luna as well. It's going to force Cuss all the way back, but he's going to throw out the Pyre Strike and try and get the stun. It's not going to matter, though. They're going to be able to get that triple for Evil Eye, and at least a defense successful for them for a very brief moment.
Bomb King doing so much, I think, so far for Kanga. Top damaging on their team above the tanks here. Net worth charts. Cuss actually pretty far in the lead. A lot of assists coming his way, I think, being part of many kills, which is definitely what would boost up your charts that much. Io isn't really super huge on actual healing numbers. The pocket potential is kind of more what's there in the objective time, so definitely expect to see the network charts being decided in their favor. Jules gets moved back, has the dash, knows not to use it. Objective time doesn't show up for Luna, by the way, on the chart. That's why Io has so little time. Jules kind of caught out here, gets healed by the Io, gets healed by the Conch Shout, and manages to turn this around and kill Bunny.
Yeah, Simsalou's all the way out on the side. Actually just uses that dash once again. He gets rid of Chronics, but they already got rid of Zarini. They got rid of Ricardo, but Simsalou trying to clean up in the back, but it's not going to be enough for him. Kanga might actually be able to defend this one successfully and possibly end up with the score at a 2-2. But, guys, there's only 10 seconds left. They still can try and make it back. It's a matter of what will they be able to do in these very, very last pivotal seconds. Again,
Probably not much. They're probably not going to spend much of anything. You really don't want to here. Zarini, dismounted early, does make it to the point, but Bunny's a little bit overextended in the face of Joel. Doesn't really know. The heal comes in, but he's caught 3. Nothing can really happen from that. Chronic's trying to make a difference, but Simsalou finally connecting the daggers and having the performance that we've been wanting from him so far in this game. Gotta find some damage, but with the tanks down, nothing else can really happen. And Kanga, even the scoreline out, we're looking at a 2-2 mid-fight.
Yeah, the flashbang was the only thing that was used. And will probably be pretty inconsequential, as Strix will be able to get that back just in time, or at least in a very, very timely manner. But once again, you are right. We're looking at a tie now, Krezzik. It is 2-2. Everything is on the line right now. This will decide whether Kanga can actually move on. Have they qualified? Will they be able to keep on pushing on through this winner's bracket? Or will PK be able to tie things up after this Jaguar Falls match and make it count?
So I got so distracted by the sound of that slow-mo sticky.
Oh.
I actually... I was laughing to myself about like just the very I've just never heard that noise before. But still, they need to find something out though. You're right. I think they need to. I'm not sure what Kanga could do. I think maybe King Bomb in response to a Midnight so that Evil Eye can see what he's doing and stop the aggression, because no one wants to push into a King Bomb that's waiting there. Very different look for Kanga early here. Midnight comes in. They respond with a King Bomb, like I said, and that actually is going to counter the Seismic Crash too. It's coming around the backside. Assert dominance. Not sure what it found in front, but Evil Eye's going to find Cuss in the back.
Nice. They're going to be able to take care of him. Their healer is down. We already see Zarini and Simsalou are also low as well. Evil Eye with more and more bombs. The bodies are stacking up on Kanga Esports side. They're able to get those kills, pile them up one after the other. PK are looking a little bit distraught right now with 54% against them, 15% is all that PK have, but they still have a chance to touch. They used all of their ultimates there, and they were not able to find what they needed to.
Everything the Flashbang, but Flashbang's not going to stop this, buddy getting melted
Nice,
to
yeah.
pieces, and now I don't know what Knights can do.
Simsalou was the one that was actually able to touch, but they've already dropped Luna directly on the point. Once again, that's right, Kresnik. I don't know what they can do either. They put up the walls. Arenas just end up taking a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough still. The objective has been captured by Kanga Esports. They've still got their Begone. Flashbang has just come right back up, but they have plenty of time to push this one in and see if they can close out this set against the Pittsburgh Knights.
Begone's still available for Kanga as well, so they can use that to potentially have a snowball here, but Gera has to be back on the point to micro Luna. Keep that objective being moved. A strict shot. Now actually Zarina catches out Jules, but Jules manages to dash away now. Knights is how both teams fairly healthy except for the point tank. Simsalou potentially getting aggressive here, but doesn't see Jules there on the side, and Bunny's the first one to die.
Daggers thrown out. Simsalou actually gets shot by a presence and then gets finished off more than luckily by that auto aim ability. One of the two. A minute and 50 seconds still available and up. The bodies are just piling up, and Kanga have not stopped their push, but that does not mean that things are over. Not by a long shot. They've got the flashbang still available. Zarini's still there. Everyone's coming right back up. Over there keeping Simsalou in his spawn. He's trying to get rid of the bombs, and now Zarini's actually going to be able to help out.
I thought Simpsy was going to immediately die there. And I don't know how hard I would have broken Zarini. DR's really early. I think he's afraid of Overpower, but Overpower wasn't up. It's going to be up just in time for that Earthen Guard to go down.
Oh,
and
there
here
it
comes
is!
through the wall as well. Hit him right before it came up. No point tank. I don't know what Knights can do to hold this point.
They don't have a DPS either. I don't even know if they have a chance to be able to defend against Kanga Esports as they push this one in and qualify themselves. Kanga Esports with a 3-1 against the Pittsburgh Knights.
Fawn, it just wouldn't be a world championship without Kanga in the bracket, would
That's
it?
right.
We need that representation.
Absolutely right.
From the Australians here, and they're gonna be there for sure. Fantastic performance by them. I think their drafts are pretty solid throughout. Maybe a little slip up with that triple tank, but they knew what to do throughout all of these games. Solid performances by them. They broke this meta. They made something new, and it's taken them all the way to the quarterfinals.
Exactly. However, Pittsburgh Knights, they are not out by a long shot. They will be the ones going up against Flashpoint. Renegades will also be the ones going up against the Hype Unit minor league team as well. But once again, nothing to take away from the victory of Kanga Esports right there. Congratulations to them for being able to make it to quarterfinals.
That means SSG Kanga to qualify for
yeah.
seeding 2 after this. That's not today, but it's still going to be an exciting game. But fantastic play by Kanga there in the end. I think they had Knights studied. They knew what to do. Even when the Knights are waking up a little bit more at the end, Kanga had the answers. Knights adapted one mid-fight. Kanga adapted back. Swung it over. There's no other chance for Knights to fight back.
Not at all, but they'll have to be able to try and fight their way out of the losers bracket. But once again, congratulations to Kanga. Let's throw it back to the desk and get their thoughts on it.
Well, that's right. Kanga are the ones who are going to be going, at least at this point, forward to the quarterfinals. They're there with Space Station Gaming. The Knights knocked down in the bracket to go up against Flashpoint later. Still have a chance to go, but it's going to take a little bit more work to get there. But this game, there's so much that just goes right. I mean, Kanga were controlling from beginning to end. There was almost no chance to get a breath of air for the Knights.
There was not. I mean, it all goes back to that conversation. They're not banning tanks. I mean, Atlas, Makoa, Khan, they've been letting these throughout this entire set, and Evil Eye is just continuing to do God's work on the BK.
Yeah.
He did it not yesterday, 2 days ago.
16-5.
Yeah, 16-5 on things that he loves to play. 2 days ago, he did it on Drogos. Today, he did it on Bomb King multiple times. You even give Strix to the Knights. You give Simsalou the Mave. G-Bunny did better on the Ashe than he did on the Khan and the Atlas the previous games, but they're just still not able to take care of Evil Eye. Essentially, you're going to have to start banning BK, right?
Yeah, it's looking like it. I mean, that's become a very prominent threat, and I mean, much like you were saying, people have kind of started ignoring the blaster pool. Like, Maeve, Eevee have been more on the chopping block, especially this week, than we have seen out of the Drogos, the Bomb King. Although Drogos has been very silent, not picked up too often. There were just so many good plays. A lot of moments, even from Gera, being able to put his name in there. The IO works well for them. Kanga have not only themselves figured out, it feels like with Hades coming back in, everything is kind of leveled out for them. This is the team I remember seeing kind of come to fruition in Phase 1, start off with Phase 2, and like this is, as you know, a lot of these PPL teams like to say it, a team that's peaking at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. You want to peak at the right time. The meta is never the same during tournaments. More is on the line.
Yeah.
You're trying to make it to the World Championship bracket. You don't want to get eliminated. Knights aren't. They're going to go to the losers bracket. Of course, they have one more chance. But I mean, everything's on the line. They're peaking at the right moment. Hades came back. This is looking like the Kanga that surprises people at tournaments every year, and then they got their ticket to the PPL.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. We've got quarterfinals ready for Kanga, although tomorrow they're going to find out who exactly they'll end up against. As of right now, though, they know they're going, and we have them standing by, ready to see how they feel after such a great set.
Welcome in, guys. Thank you for coming down here. Congratulations to you guys being able to take it 3-1 over PK. That is a very, very daunting task. I mean, PK is not an easy team to go up against. How do you guys feel like you prepared to be able to try and fight back in the set today?
I think we had a very strong game plan going into it. We understood what their tendencies were in the draft, and we just abused that and abused their players, basically, and we just focused on ourselves and pushed through that with the draft.
How much do you guys think that your previous experience being in all these qualifiers as the Oceania representative helped you kind of stay calm under pressure in this game?
Well, we've been in so many tournaments already, so we're really used to the pressure, and like all of us have a ton of LAN experience. You know, we have Gara, who's, you know, from Fnatic. We have Evoli from G2, so we just have a really strong lineup who have a lot of experience.
A lot of experience to stay cool under pressure. I have to ask, this is something that I think is specific to you guys. Do you think that being Kanga, right, having all these unique Kanga picks where you force Strix, you force Aya, you're picking BK in places that nobody else is, how much of an advantage do you think that having all these unique pocket picks gives you in draft?
A huge advantage, actually. A lot of teams can't play the same way that we do. A lot of teams don't understand what we're doing in matchups. So I think that gives us a huge advantage, at least in the draft aspect. Gameplay is much different, and I think it's a good thing to have for us going into Worlds.
Speaking of draft, what led to the decision to play that specific style of triple tank on Frog Isle?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just wanted to try Inara one time, just for fun, and it worked out really well, so now I just play Inara when we play triple tank.
Do you think double aggressive tank, maybe instead of the Inara, could have flipped that game and put it on your side?
Anything is possible. You can change in the draft. Like, obviously, we're not going to say.
Oh, yeah, sure.
we understand how comps work.
You have quarterfinals. Give away everything.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, what team are you guys hoping to play against in quarterfinals?
It's VP and Envy, right?
They're third and fourth. That would be winning first or second here to get them.
I think any of them, because we're just going to smash them anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to hear. Congratulations, guys, on winning this set. Congratulations on making it to quarterfinals. For now, we're going to throw to a quick break, and after that, Hype Unit versus Renegades.